That would be the problem. Hey, how we doing? It even had a 6-speed sub, but it's a slot 2. What are you gonna do with that? Yeah, cry as you sell, exactly. Hey, Raymark, Joe. Man, I got a bunch of chat to catch up on here. Let's see. I'm just catching up on the chat a little bit, guys. So how's everybody's FRR going? Has it been a good day? And also, please let me know how the music and the audio levels are, as always. If they need an adjustment, let me know. Draven, you're very welcome for the FRR tip video. I'm glad you were able to catch it. I know I dropped it a little bit late. Evan, I agree with Rahul. Nobody's trash. We're all at just different stages of the game. And I hope I pronounced this right. Is it Najar or Nahar? But you're very welcome for the entry. I appreciate you showing up early and sticking around. Hey, Ripper. Man, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. That's awesome of you. Seriously, very generous. Alpha, we'll take a look if you're in the review queue, and we'll see how bad your FRR was. Hey, Antoine, I'm glad you were able to make it. Okay, I think I am roughly caught up here. So we're gonna do one more of these. Wow, again, huh? We're gonna do one more of these. What do you call it? Of these Lumal runs, while I start to put together a list of the account reviews, because last time we got a little disorganized, so this time I want to make sure I do everybody correctly in turn. So I'm coming back up to where I said it. Bauhaus TV, you're going to be the first one to get the review. And then it looks like Joe Cardoso, you've got the second review. Alpha Hippo, you're third. Damien, you're next. Mr. Saipan, you're the next one I see in there. If you guys catch any errors as I'm going down, just tell me. Bert is next. And then Rahul, you want a review on your alt, it looks like. And then Draven. And then Ben Sam. And then actually Arnold is before Ben. He said review first, so it's Arnold and then Ben. Am I missing any more here? I think I'm caught up there then. Oh, Saksham, if I pronounced it correctly. And then Giovanni. And we will scroll back up to the chat from here because that's a lot of accounts. So I'm not sure if I'll get past it, but we are going to stay in order. So Giovanni, you're the last one I've got on my list right now. And then if we make it past you, I'm going to scroll back up into the chat from that point at 2:04 p.m. I'll try to get through as many as I can. I hope I'm able to get through all of those and more. The goal today is we're We're going to run this stream until 5 p.m. and then at the end of the stream, we're picking the giveaway winners from the FRR video as well. So, let us jump into our first review. Bauhus, which server are you on? Yeah, it's always going to be 8895. So let's jump in here, but I will have to obviously jump between servers as we do different people. Oh, I just realized I don't have the camera on. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Okay, Bauhus, please go ahead and just say something in channel 8895 and global. Najar, bro, you were here early enough that I gave you an entry. So, I will go ahead and I'm gonna put you up at the top of the list. That's only fair. You were waiting in chat for like an hour and a half, bro. That wouldn't be fair for you not to get the review. So I'll do you after Bauhus. Okay, so don't look at your homie. He's just the rep. Ben, yeah, that wasn't the intentional flex. Probably the camera off would look better, but all right, let's take a visit over here. Hi, Culus, man, 5 a.m. That is way too early in the day. Or too not. Well, if it's 5 a.m. at night for you, then you're good. If it's 5 a.m. in the morning, then not so much. All right, man. So I'm loving the level 20 elementals over here. Brownie, hush. Okay, I'm guessing you just wanted a small review then? All right, so the Camilla, man, she is fast. So we're on Vampire Destroy Camilla, which is a good build. The crit rate is really low though. I think you're relying more on the destroy than the actual damage output, but her attack is really low, her crit rate is really low. She's just built like a full-on tank, so you're probably speed HP defense would be my guess. Or speed double HP, but look at that defense sub 35. So my main thing with Camilla is she's already damage reducing. Personally, I would probably move her into a crit damage build, boost the crit rate, and drop the speed and the defense in exchange. But the build you have is viable. I would just, I think you're going to wind up getting stuck in some infinitely long fights, and you could wind up in like just a draw where neither side's able to do damage, even with the destroy runes. Okay, so we got Praha. The 100% crit rate is sweet. The accuracy is good. It might be nice to be a little bit higher, but it's not terrible. HP is solid, defense is solid, speed is good, so I'm assuming she's in Despair Nemesis, which she is, so it's just a really solid all-around Praha build. Nothing needs to be changed. If you happen to get the ability to add some attack through grinds or a gem, that could help a little bit just to take advantage of that crit rate, but it's certainly not essential. The Kamoon is right off the bat. I see he's on the slow side and the HP is low. I like that you did the crit damage build, and I'm going to assume this is violent. Despair Destroy. So I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Despair Kamoons. It can be a little bit irritating to get stunned, but because he's only a single target attacker, and especially because you've got him on the slow side, I don't see as much value in it. I'd rather even see you go swift and take advantage of turn cycling his shield a little bit more. As Draven just said, Violent is now the actual meta, and I'm okay, honestly. I think Violent and Swift are about equal. Violent is primarily going to be the meta if you're using him in a Kamoon Odin Bastet defense. And then I would like to see the HP get up a little bit over 30k if you're able to, even if that means dropping the crit rate a little bit. Hey Caesar, how you doing? Weiss, we do have a long queue, but I am going to do my best to get through everybody. It does take a little bit of time, so I can't promise that I will get to you today, but I will do my best. Okay, so Kumar I don't have, so I'm really just kind of speculating here. He should scale to max HP on both skills, which he does. So I would probably like to see his HP be slightly higher, but I got to give you credit for the fact that you made a point of giving him defense, and a lot of people forget to give their Beast Monks defense, just kind of like turns them into Pernas where they're super easy to kill. So on the whole, I like the HP defense. I might rather see like 200 less defense in exchange for 4,000 more HP. That's about it. The speed is really good. Accuracy is good. It's an overall really solid build. Bernard is a beautiful build. I'm assuming you went crit rate to take advantage of the 2A. So he's obviously a little bit squishy, but again, Bernard's probably usually not going to be targeted first. It's actually really good HP and defense in the subs too. So there's nothing I can say about this. It's actually just a very solid Bernard build. I like it. Fen Yang needs more defense. That jumps right out at me. And he also needs a little bit more accuracy. Overall, I'm thinking this is probably a lower efficiency set, to be honest. So we're on Violent Destroy. I like the Violent Destroy build for Fen Yang. That's really good. You could give up a couple thousand HP, and if you could transition a couple thousand HP to more defense, that would be nice. I'd like to see him get to 20 accuracy. It's not the end of the world. You could also give up some of the resistance if you had to. Overall, I mean, Fen Yang is OP and the build is good, but yeah, I would probably try and shift just to get him a little bit higher with the defense and accuracy. And then the Skogul HP is low. He doesn't need to be that fast, and you've got him on Violent Endure, but the resistance is on the low side with the Endure. So if you're going to use Endure runes, always try to get up to like over 80 or 90 resistance. And then with your Skoguls, you really want to try and get them over 40k HP. So I'm assuming, you actually are in triple HP. That's why you got the 5 stars on the slots 4 and 6. So if Skogul's not a super used monster, then that's completely understandable why you did that. I use my Skoguls a lot. What was I gonna say? But yeah, generally you could drop that Skogul down to like plus 70 or 80 speed, and in exchange for that, get him up over 40k HP, and I think you'll find him to be more effective. Remember also, Skogul has no need for crit rate, attack, crit damage. He can benefit a little bit from accuracy. It's certainly not essential, but basically all your Skogul needs is HP, defense, and speed, and everything else doesn't matter, so that does make them a little bit easier to build. Okay, let me catch up a little bit on chat. Caesar, I'm doing good. I can't remember if I responded to you. I apologize. Rocket League, right now I'm on Global and channel 8895, but I'm only taking signups through the stream chat because I want to be more organized than last time. Philippe, I will definitely review you if I can get to you. It's kind of a long queue right now, but I'm going to do my best to go through these quick, and we are going to do a 3-hour stream today, so I'm hoping to get through a lot of people. Christian, same answer as Philippe. Draven, yeah, Fen Yang's power comes in that defense break, so yeah, you want to get him a little bit of accuracy in there. Arya, same answer as everybody else, and nice. I don't know if the Arya is coming from Game of Thrones, but that would be cool. Rui, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And Naher, that is awesome. I'm glad you were able to clear TOA 100. Yeah, Ben, Tiana doesn't quite need some, Oh yeah, Weiss, you're right. It could be from Aragon as well. Okay, Naher, you're actually next. Can you tell me which server you're on? Hey, Andrew, Andrea, I'm sorry, that's a double I. Okay, Global, so just say something in channel 8895. Andrea, I will, what stage of the game our friends on? Sure, Rahul, you got that. I can do that. Okay, Rahan is Naher? Just did it? Okay. Guys, if you can do me a favor and say your YouTube name in the channel moving forward, if your YouTube name is not the same as the game name, that way I know who you are. Okay, so Rahan, it looks like you are probably in an early or early mid-game stage. Let's go ahead and take a look at the runes. Oh, that's sweet, Hyculus. Yeah, you'll notice a huge difference when you optimize those farming teams. Joe's main. Okay, got you. And yeah, you are next, Joe. Okay. Guys, is my screen sized improperly? No, it's correct. Okay. All right, so we are with our Chow first. Since we're in an earlier stage of the game, I think the crit rate, crit damage, attack, all of those look pretty good to me, but I would really make an effort to get that speed up. Even if it means just changing off this this revenge rune into a speed rune. It depends on where you're using your Chow, but I'm assuming you're using it in Guild War, and so at that point you really are going to want to have at least a little bit more speed. And then from there, just try to work to take advantage of that big base HP and get some more HP over time. The aerial looks good. If you can build up the resistance on the aerial a little bit, I'd prefer to see that. If you cannot build up the resistance, if you don't have the rune quality, then just lower the resistance instead. Because the 50 resistance doesn't give you a lot of value. I call it no man's land. So you're going to be better off either going kind of all or nothing. You want to be like no resistance and just dump it all into stats, or get yourself up over 80 resistance and gain the benefit from it. Aerial probably doesn't need quite as much accuracy as well. I know we have the skill 1 strip, but still the 36 accuracy is a little bit of overkill. So if you lower the resistance and accuracy and you change that off for a little bit more HP or speed, you'll probably find it to be more useful. So the homunculus we've got in Despair Will, which I'm assuming this is like a combination of farming and TOA homunculus. So the big thing I notice right here is that you've got a crit damage build over here on the slot 4, but you only have 25 crit rate. And so you're not going to be able to really take advantage of that crit damage build when your crit rate is low. I would change out that slot 4 rune for either a crit rate rune or an attack rune, and I think you'll find the homunculus does much better for you. All the other stats look pretty good. Eventually you'd like to get a little bit more HP and defense on there as you can. The Tyrant build, this looks like a PvP build to me since you've got him in the HP runes. We're in Swiftblade, which is a fine early game build. The speed is good for the stage of game. The defense is probably a little bit on the low side for what you're trying to accomplish. Jeremiah, you're very welcome. I'm really glad that you found the video useful. The only other thing I see here with the Tyrant is you're going to want to try and get the accuracy up a little bit to really take full advantage of those skills 2 and 3. The Colleen build is, I see where you, so we're in Swift triple HP, so you might want to swap out the slot 2 HP rune for speed, and try and get a little bit more defense in the substats if you can. And also maybe inscribe that slot 3 rune because it's going to give you some flat defense, and Colleen has a low flat defense, or low base defense. Zyros build looks solid. Eventually I'd like to see it with some more accuracy and crit rate, but you're going in the right direction with it. The Ludo build, we are in Fatal Fight. That's interesting. So Ludo, you're probably going to want a little bit more speed. Eventually you're going to want your Ludo in Violent, but I recognize if you don't have those runes yet. Yeah, Draven, that's a good point. I'll expand on that one in a minute. So basically, yeah, the Ludo, I think you just... Your Ludo, you're going to want to be probably a little bit tankier because he's usually an early target. You're going to want him to be faster. You're going to want to get him into Violent eventually. The Ethna definitely needs more speed. Take advantage of that big base speed. So right now you've got her in, looks like a 222 set, and that's something that I endorse a lot. 222 set if you don't have the runes, but ultimately you're going to want to put Ethna into Swift. The Katarina, I'm not quite sure what you're using her for, but it's the same comment as before. In a crit damage build, she's going to need more crit rate. The Bark, I have to be honest, I've never built Bark. I don't even remember what he does. So just a basic damage dealer. So it's going to be pretty much the same comment with Bark. Again, crit damage builds if you have... crit damage builds only work if you have enough crit rate. Giacomo, yeah, Despair is great for Ethna as well. I was... you know what, I take it back. Giacomo's correct. In early game, Despair is the build for Ethna. In late game, the Swift is going to matter more because you're using Ethna to try and take first turn, but she's still viable on Despair in late game as well. She's one of those monsters you can build a few ways. So Swift or Despair both work. Violent can work, but it would be the third option. Okay, so the Morris, we're on a 222 set. Just because we have so many account reviews to do, I'm going to start to jump past more towards the monsters that you're more likely to use at this stage of the game and not do each one individually. I apologize, but just because we have so many people waiting to get into the review. So the Bella Violent Focus is... Hey Tito, I haven't done any yet, but it's something I would consider. Yeah, just talk to me on Despair. Talk to me on Discord after the stream. My Discord information is in the description. Okay, so for Bella, the main thing is I'd like to see her have a little bit more defense, a little bit more speed, but overall, this is a really solid build, especially for being on Violent. This is actually one of your better overall rune sets, so I'm happy with it. The Lauren, we just need to have more speed here. I'm assuming it's a slot 6 accuracy rune. It is not. So since it's not slot 6 accuracy, you could get away with less accuracy here in exchange for more defense. Lauren's always going to be an early target, so you want her to be able to take a hit. Beta, the main thing here, again, defense and speed. So this is, I'm kind of seeing a consistent theme on your account. It's that you're not valuing defense enough, and don't minimize the value of defense. It really does matter. The Veramos, this looks like a solid Veramos that you've probably built for your GB10 teams. Same kind of comment as far as defense goes, and then maybe a little bit more attack if you can get it as well. Dusky, I'm going to mention the same thing again. The crit damage builds are more effective with higher crit rate, but Dusky also needs a little bit more attack. Your Dark Homunculus, which skill tree are you using here? We are in protection field, so the absorbs. Okay, so you're in kind of a support skill tree. In that case, just a little bit more speed and attack, and you're good with the Dark Homunculus. Joe, I will do my best to get to you. We're taking a list. It's kind of a long queue right now, but I am going to try, and if I can't get through everybody today, then I will certainly do another one of these. As long as you guys need the reviews, I'll keep doing these. Okay, the Airgar build, for me this looks great, especially if you're using Airgar where he should be, which is in the Rifts. Your Airgar build is actually kind of similar to mine, except of course mine is in Violent, but the overall stats are quite similar. And then it looks like your Arya, she actually is 6-star, she's just not fully leveled up. So your Arya just needs to be tankier. Assuming you haven't started ruining her. Oh, she's in a Fatal Blade, so... even though she's attack type, Arya's real power comes in her AoE debuffs, so I would build her a lot tankier. Yeah, there won't be a 10-hour review coming from me, Ben. My voice can't do 10 hours. Okay, Joe, you are next. Which server are you in? You're very welcome, Naher. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. If not, I do apologize. I wasn't sure if it was Najer or Naher. I'm not sure if it's an H sound. Okay, Joe, you're global. That's awesome. I know you told me the name, so let me find you. Just send a message up here then. Najer, got you. Okay, got you, Joe. So, let's take a look here. We're C1 Arena, G1 Guild. You've got good dungeon times, triple S on all the beasts, so you're probably going to be somewhere mid-game or later mid-game would be my expectation. Let's take a look at the runes here. Okay, so Megan, obviously you're just going to want her in your fastest set, I'm assuming, or one of your fastest sets. So the 166 looks good for stage of game. Ajir's not ruined. Homunculus isn't ruined. The Camilla build looks solid. As long as she's in Violent, yeah, Violent Destroy, so I like the Camilla build. If you could get her an extra 20 speed down the road, that would be sweet. If you could get her an extra 10 accuracy down the road, that would be sweet, but overall a solid build. The Talia, this is clearly a dungeon Talia. We're on, ooh, that's a Violent build with 200 crit damage. Nice work. She could use a little bit more attack. The crit damage and the attack work dynamically, so even if you drop the CD a little bit in exchange for more attack, it would be nice. I'm not going to discuss speed on any dungeon. Not going to discuss speed on any dungeon tune teams. I'm just going to assume that you guys are speed tuning properly, and if not, of course, I have videos up that explains how to speed tune. So the Sabrina 1400 attack is nice. The double fight I like. The only thing I'll say here that 1800 HP, if you're getting any fails, that is a little bit squishy, and I'm wondering, yeah, you could max this 3-5 here if you're getting any fails with the Sabrina because she's dying. But the overall offensive stats look great. Accuracy is maybe slightly on the low side, but as long as she's paired with a Shayna, she's good. And again, I'm not discussing speed there. The Julie looks very solid. Hey Judson, I really appreciate that. Yeah, just message me on Discord and we'll talk about it. Marcel, yeah, you could sign up for a review. I can't promise I'm going to get through to everybody. Same thing goes to you, Team 17K. Going to do my best to get to everybody, but I can't promise because we do have quite a bit. But I am going in order of everybody who asked in the YouTube stream chat. So we're just going straight down in order. Okay, so we finished up with Julie. The Molong right here, that's a good, solid build. Yeah, Draven, that was totally not total slip of the tongue. Okay, so the Molong build, just a really solid build. I think you've got a good balance of HP to speed. There are some people who go faster with Molong and less HP, and that's a speed tuning question that I can't really tell without seeing what comps you're using in, but the overall efficiency is just there. It's solid. Defense is good, yeah, nothing to say on that. Samantha, we are in Despair. Will, you could swap the Will out for Nemesis. You certainly don't have to. It depends on how you're using your Samantha as well. Or Samoth as well. It depends on if you're more concerned with AO or AD. But the overall build here is really solid. Little bit more attack. You could get away with 85 crit rate and a little bit more attack, but generally it's just a solid build that you've got good thought put into. The Verd, basically just a little bit more defense. That's the only thing I would shoot for. Get that Verd up to about 1100 defense, and then if you can get some more speed, you're good as well. Ben, it depends on how strong the Sama is built. If it's in rage, then it might counter you, yeah. Well, it also depends on if it resists or not. Okay, so the Kumar, let's see. I would like to see probably a little bit more HP on the Kumar, and definitely a little bit more accuracy. Take advantage of that skill 2 silence. But the overall build is solid. It's more a question of efficiency here, and I'm assuming you didn't put your highest efficiency set on Kumar, which I don't blame you. The Violent Endure is, I mean, the Violent is obviously good. The Endure is not necessary, but you did at least build resistance to take advantage of the Endure, which I appreciate. So overall good build. The Shayna, she just needs a little bit more crit rate, and she's good otherwise. Maruna, she needs runes and she'll be better. The Belager is way too slow. If you're using this for BJR5, you're probably getting fails. That Belager needs to be up over 124, 125 speed. You do not need quite so much crit rate. Again, we're talking about BJR5 now, which from the rune quality on your account, you should be building to BJR5 if you're not there already. So you can drop that Belager's crit rate down to all the way down to 58. Get the crit damage up slightly, get about an extra 200 attack, an extra 20 crit damage, an extra 20 speed, and an extra 2000 HP. That's what you would need for the BJR5. And if you're just using it for PvP, like a Queb Catabale team, keep the crit rate a little bit higher and just shoot for all the other changes we just discussed. Masha, she's in Swift Will at plus 129, and you're using speed, so you're basically not valuing Masha really high. I will tell you, I actually just recorded a Masha review video a couple of days ago. We'll talk more about her in detail in the video. For right now, speed tuning Masha is too tricky for me to talk about in a review, so I'll just talk about the other stats. Basically, I'd like to see her attack be higher, and she needs accuracy. You've got to take advantage of that defense break. Mapiva, I am, and Swolek as well, both of you guys who requested the reviews. I'm doing everybody in order as it was requested in chat, so I will do my best to get to you, but I can't make any promises. And what's going on, Wolfman? Glad you were able to make it. Okay, so our Lucian right here, that is a very thick, solid, fat Lucian. I got nothing to say on it. It just looks good. Bernard, 296. Yeah, that is speed tuned properly, so I like the Bernard. I like the build. You've got accuracy. You've got HP and defense. Looks good all around. Second Lucian build, once again, another solid Lucian. You're at, what, 151, 158. So you're relatively speed tuned, 93 and 87. I might not mind seeing one of those Lucians at 100 crit rate, but that's just splitting hairs. Honestly, they're both good. Fen Yang, really solid build. The 55 resistance, and I've talked about this before, it's kind of no man's land. But does he awaken into resistance? No, he doesn't. He awakens into crit rate. So yeah, you could get rid of that resistance and give him another stat, or max out that resistance, or at least bring the resistance up to over 80%, so you really get to take advantage of it. Yeah, the one thing you never want to do is be between 40 and 60 resistance, because you just you're wasting a lot of efficiency, basically. If you can make him a little bit faster, it would be nice. If you could put him on Destroy, it would be nice. But the overall stats are really solid. This should be a Despair Triton. It is Despair Will. So since it's a Despair Triton, super tanky. The accuracy is on the low side, but very acceptable. Great speed. This is obviously a monster you use regularly, and I like the build. Skogul, 44k HP and change. The one big thing with your Skogul here, everything is built properly, except it needs more defense. It needs like 200 to 300 more defense, because remember that passive is going to boost defense as well. Even if you have to trade off a little bit of speed, that would be fine, but better if you could just trade off some of that crit rate. Gem some crit rate for defense or something like that, and you'll be good. You should be taking advantage of this Lauren over here. The Jean build, she's a little bit low on the accuracy side. The resistance looks like you're built to take advantage of your leader skill, and if that's the case, then you could go about 10 resistance lower, because that lead skill is 41. I'd like to see her with slightly more HP, but I'm assuming, let's see, we're on speed, HP, that's why. So you just got to max that slot 6 rune, and we'll be looking a little bit better on the HP there. Everything else on that build is good, but it would be nice if you could boost that accuracy up over 40 or 50 at least. That would be the last big thing. Get that accuracy up. Fran, 236, solid HP, solid attack. I'd like to see an extra 1-200 attack, but it's solid, especially in context of Sage of Game. Violent Will is the perfect build. She doesn't really need the crit rate. I'm sure that's just the way your Bruins broke down and you couldn't get rid of the crit rate. But if any of that crit rate is gemmable for defense, please do gem it for defense, because she needs a little bit more. Overall solid build though. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Thiago. The Lins are not ruined. The Joltan's not ruined. Crow's not ruined. And now we are into the lower monsters. So there you go, Joe. Overall, very solid, solid builds. Nicely done. And Alpha Hippo, you are next. Which server are you on, sir, Alpha Hippo? Europe server. Okay, so let us switch servers here. Little bit late, I just let the cat out of the bag there, but we're gonna go ahead and turn this off while we switch servers anyway. You guys can see all the stream entries. No, I got too many of the wrong windows loaded here. This should be off. This should be open. This should be on. There we go. Okay, now let's switch over to, let's switch servers here. Yeah, I was a little bit late. Cat was already out of the bag because I didn't switch servers the first time, but so be it. Oh, I'm gonna call you out on the broken sets a little bit. You know that. Oh. Okay, 8895 Europe server. There is Alpha Hippo. Let us take a look at your record. Okay, so we're F3 Arena playing for less than a year, and you're already doing 50-second Necro. That's pretty nice right there. Triple S Fire Beast. You're making great progression all around. So I'm going to assume you're somewhere in the earlier mid-game or mid-game stages, but really great progression for the amount of time you've been playing. Joel, no, you don't need to be super good at all. Hey, that reminds me. I think it was Draven who made the point earlier, and I didn't follow up on it after the Nigeria account review. Guys, if you're earlier game, in my opinion, it's totally fine to 6-star monsters and prepare them, but don't necessarily have to rune all of them. It's more important to rune the monsters that you're using well than it is to put runes on every single monster. Sometimes if you have a monster you know you're going to use in the future, you could 6-star it and put it in storage if you've got extra Rainbow Mon or whatever, and that's fine. You don't have to rune it the second you make it. But make sure you're putting your best, most useful, or make sure you're runing the monsters that you're using well enough for them to succeed. And then if you have more runes after that, then you start runing those additional monsters. Okay, Alpha, let's take a look at your account here. Yeah, Rahul, that's the other thing. Obviously, you're going to be focused on PvE monsters early. You're going to build a little bit of PvP. XN. I'm just going to say XN. And hey, AC. I am not on Asia AC. I do have a really long queue. I can't promise to get through everyone today, but I'm going to do my best. And to Rahul's point, basically, as far as your game progression goes, you want to build your GB10, DB10, MB10 teams. Then you want to build your raid teams. Summoners Academia, huh? Yeah. But yeah, guys, you want to just build all of your farming teams before you start PvP. The time you should be moving to PvP is once you have started raiding. You're obviously going to need to do a little bit of PvP then, but basically until you are raiding, PvP should not be your focus. Okay, so we are in Alpha Hippo. We are in all sorts of broken sets with 1900 attack and 79 crit damage. So I'm assuming this is your Feynman farmer, and I can't really gauge how effective she is. I'll just say if she's farming fast enough, then that's fine. If she's not, you might want to try and put her in a vampire set or a rage set, one of those. Okay, so the Talia, is this a violent set? Oh, we're in a Swift Broken Talia. That's a new one. So the attack is on the low side, the crit rate is very much on the low side, and just remember, Talia does not need any accuracy whatsoever. Like, literally none of her skills benefit from accuracy, so you could take all that accuracy and move it over to attack and crit rate. HP and defense are okay, probably a little bit more defense would be more stable for farming. Sabrina build looks good, and just obviously I'd like to see her in Violent. You did warn me you're in a lot of messed up sets and broken sets, so I'm not going to harp on those every time. I'm just going to mention the recommended sets. So Sabrina would be better in Violent. Second choices would be Fatal or Rage. Samoth is... Let's see here. So Despair Nemesis is good. Just a little bit on the slow side. I'd like to see a little bit more speed and a little bit more defense maybe, if you could. The Rauk, I'm assuming this is speed tuned for a dungeon team, but it strikes me as kind of slow because you normally want Ralk acting earlier in your dungeons. And I remember, yeah, oh, that's Talia. Yeah, so if your Sabrina's 132 and your Ralk's 136, they are speed tuned. Okay. So the attack is good, the accuracy is good, the overall build is good. A little bit more crit rate if you could get it would be nice. I like the 80 crit damage. You've got good crit damage through subs on the Verd. A little bit more HP and a lot more defense would be very helpful here, though. Even though the crit damage is nice, I would trade that crit damage off for defense and HP if I could. The Belager, you are in a BJR5 build, and this looks like you should be... You might actually be 500 to 1,000 damage short. I'm not sure. But you're probably getting away with it either way, because most people are up around 33, 34k. So if you've got like good strong guildies, I'm sure you're good with that. Rika, so you're in an HP build. She has Despair, right? Yeah. So we're in speed HP defense, or speed double defense, and that slot 6 is not maxed. Maybe not maxed because you're waiting to get a better rune. I'm not sure. But I'd like to see one of those defense runes turn into an HP rune and get her HP up a little bit. The rest of the build looks really solid. You put thought into all of the build, and I have no other feedback except maybe get that slot 6 turned into a max HP rune. Triana, Violent Broken. So the perfect build for Triana is Violent Nemesis if you can. If you cannot get her into Nemesis, Violent Endure is my preference because it's a great place to use Endure runes, and you really benefit if that Triana is up at 100 resistance or close to it. So that's going to be my single biggest piece of feedback for you here is keep your Triana with these identical stats, but get her onto Nemesis and give her like another 70 resistance. Or if you can't do that with Nemesis, just put her on Endure, get her another 70 resistance. And if you have to trade off a couple hundred defense, that would be okay. If you could boost the HP a little bit, that would be okay. But the main thing is the resistance. Railsberg, we're in Fatal Energy, which is fine. The HP and defense looks good for the way you're using him. The attack looks good. Overall build is solid. Couple more accuracy wouldn't kill you. And as I've mentioned, the No Man's Land with the resistance. And I'm also thinking your slot 4 is not maxed. Your slot 4 is actually crit rate. Wow, you got a lot of crit damage through subs. Very cool. Okay, then that build works. Leo, he's got 4 speed too much, which I'm assuming is an innate somewhere, so that's cool. Good HP, good attack. He needs a little bit more defense, but the overall build with Leo is really good. Not a whole lot to change there. Lucian looks really solid. 2 more crit rate, though. Get him up to that 85 crit rate if you can. And then 5 more crit rate on this Lucian. And that would be my only things with those 2 Lucians. Get them up to 85 crit rate. Ramagos, we should be in Vampire here, and we are. So the Ramagos build is solid. I don't have anything to add. A little bit more defense if you could would be nice, but certainly not essential for Ramagos. Hey, Brutal, I'm glad you were able to make it, and thanks for stopping by the stream, and have a good night. Eli, sorry you overslept. I will still do my best to get through to you. And, no, Damien, you don't need to stop PvPing. There's a difference between not PvPing and focusing on PvP. That was the main thing that I was talking about, is you start your focus on PvP when you're raiding, but you still PvP and practice and get better and all that before then. Rahul, you're saying he's too slow, but it depends on what it's being used for. If it's a PvE Lucian, it's perfectly fine. So I'm not going to get into speed tuning too much when I'm not sure exactly what comps people are using. But I'm assuming that this is a PvE Lucian. So the Eladriel build looks solid overall. If you could put it in more of a resistance build, I would prefer to see that. If you could make it faster, I would prefer to see that. And you know that if you don't break the second set, I would prefer to see that. Skogul build looks good, except he needs more resistance, and he needs a lot more defense. Even if you've got to lower the HP. Give up 5,000 HP and get back 500 defense, and I'll be happy for you. You can dump that accuracy. It's better. It's nice to have it, but it's not essential, and get him up to 100 resistance, and you'll enjoy your Skogul a lot more. The Yen is, let's see, we're in Swift Broken. She's got a lot of HP, and she's low on the attack and crit rate side. So if you could trade some HP off for speed and attack, I think you'd be happier with her. Overall, it's not a bad build, but if you could get the speed and the attack higher, I think you'd enjoy her more. Your Bella, the tankiness stats are good. Touch more accuracy wouldn't hurt. I wouldn't mind seeing the Bella over 30 accuracy, and a lot more speed would be really useful because Bella's an attack bar booster. Even if you've got to give up, like, what could you give up here? Well, all that crit damage. You can give up all that crit rate and crit damage and transition that over to speed, and you'll find your Bella to be more useful. This has got to be a BJR Lauren, so we're not looking at it. The Crow just needs a little bit more attack, otherwise very solid. Gorgo, a little bit more speed, otherwise very solid, and some accuracy. He needs accuracy on his skill too, right? Yeah, decrease attack power and attack bar. That's the key, is the attack bar. So yeah, the Gorgo needs a little bit of accuracy, a little bit more speed, and you'll be happier with him. That's a BJR Jansen. A second Crow, that's interesting. But solid build. I'm not sure which one's your main one, but it's a solid build overall. Bernard is super fast, 300 speed. Congrats. And now we're getting down into the 5-star monsters. So I'm not going to review 5-star monsters because I do want to move on to the next person. And that next person is Damien. Damien, what server are you on? Eric, yes, you will be on the queue. Could somebody, I'd like a volunteer if they could update the list for the people who have asked me, and I'll tell you the cutoff was Giovanni. So I have, let me type it out. No, if you could put it right in the chat right here, because I'm worried if I open up Discord, it's going to pop up into the stream. Plus, if you put it in the chat, then everybody sees it, and I know that we're all in the same page, and there's no mistakes. Yeah, I do type a little bit on the fast side, Ben. And on the loud side, the very loud side. Okay, Damien, you are on global server. Let me do it correct this time and not show my account info as I switch back. Okay, Damien, if you could just say something in 8895. Bingo, okay. Carlos, we're putting together a list right now. Team 17K, same thing. I'm doing everybody in the order that they requested them to make it fair. I will show you the list that I have coming up. This was the order people were requested in so far. So here's... Oh, that's not going to work. My cut and paste doesn't work, so I'll just read it out. I have Mr. Saipan, Bert, Rahul's Alt, Draven, Arnold, Ben, Saksham, and Giovanni coming up next. Carlos, you'll definitely be in the list. When I say those are the ones I have, that's just who's next. Okay, so we did not look at Damien's profile, so let's pull up his profile. Here we go. So your F2 Arena, G1 Guild War, Triple S, Good Dungeon Times, and S Rank World Boss. So we're looking at a mid-game account. We're going to go ahead and visit. Okay, guys, I'm just going to grab a bottle of water. I will be right back to do the review as soon as I grab that bottle of water. I can ship some over, Ben, but I don't know. It might take a couple weeks to get there. You're pretty far from me. All right. So Damien has been focusing on arena to farm for buildings. Nice. Yeah, Draven, I was about to lose my voice there. I had to do it. I was trying to hold out, but if we're doing a 3-hour stream, I had to do it. Okay, so I'm assuming you're not using the Yaku. In order to move these along and give more people a turn, I am going to just try and jump over the monsters I think you're not using. Hey, Joel, I appreciate that. Thank you. So the Tark build is... yeah, you're not using the Tark, so we're going to move past him. Your Tyron is T-Mog, so you're definitely using him. More speed and defense jumps out to me immediately because you've got him in an HP build. Violent Will, are we not maxed? Yeah, we're not maxed. So that's the main thing. Start off by maxing your 2, 4, 6. Okay, guys, just for those of you who joined in late, just so everybody knows exactly where we stand. You could be right, Rahul. That could be a TOA Tyrant, but if it is, then it's also still a little slow. Okay, so just so everybody knows where we stand, it's... I'm doing everybody in the order that they requested. I'll get through as many as I can in the 3 hours. So as you come in and you ask for a review, you're automatically on the list if I can get to you, but I can't promise. Those of you who are just joining now, I'm not sure I'll be able to make it to you. I'll do my best though. So the Tyron, if he's in a TOA build and if he's working for you, then you don't really need to change anything. That's the biggest thing is with TOA, if it's working, don't put in better runes. There's no reason to waste... There's no reason to waste resources if it's already working for TOA. So we'll move past him. The Praha is, she's not fully inscribed, so the Despair Nemesis build is good, but she needs a lot more speed, even at mid-game. If you could get her closer to 200 speed. Actually, you're not, I'm sure you're not using this Praha. I'm assuming you're not using her. Is she skilled up? She is skilled up, so you are using her. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get these runes inscribed up to 12, get this slot 6 max, and yeah, you're going to want to try and just get her more speed and more HP. That's the big thing. The accuracy is good, but more speed and more HP. The Stella, remember her skill 3 scales based off of speed, so you want to do everything in your power to get her up to 200, assuming your speed tower is maxed. If your speed tower is max, she needs to get to 207 speed, I believe. Without a max speed tower, she needs to be a little bit higher. And then she's going to definitely need more attack. So you've got her in a crit damage build, but you've got almost no attack on her. And that means you're not really benefiting from the crit damage. Plus, you've got a lower crit rate with a lot of crit damage, so you're not benefiting from that as well. And so you just want to kind of get like this this slot 3 rune that's got 22 CD and subs. Actually, it's a slot 3, so you would leave it. This slot 5 rune that's got 25 crit damage and subs. If you could get a rune that has more crit rate and more speed and get rid of the crit damage, I think you'll find she's doing more for you overall. Sig looks like he's a farming build, so he looks good for farming. The Samanth needs... I've mentioned this on other reviews. Crit damage with low crit rate is not effective, so you're going to want to either boost the crit rate or put him on a different kind of build. But he's Samanth, so you just want to boost the crit rate, honestly. Despair Revenge is fine. Despair Nemesis is slightly better. The Sabrina is on the low side with both attack and defense and crit rate. So those would be my goals for her. You've got her in Violent, Broken, which is fine. Among those goals, the biggest thing you want to do is boost that crit rate, though. If you can only boost one thing, boost the crit rate. Second thing would be defense. Talia, you've got in Swift, Broken. Same story. You want to try and boost the crit rate. It's just going to give you more consistency. It's not the end of the world if you don't get the crit rate boosted. And as I see these crit rates in this tuning, I just realized you are using your Talia leader skill, aren't you? Because 24 and 61 is 85. So since you're using the Talia leader skill, your Sabrina and your crit rate, your Talia are both good. and instead you want to focus a little bit on defense. Okay, so Susano is looking good overall. Try and get 15 more resistance on Susano because he's got that passive that will bring him up to, his passive adds 50 resistance, so if you can get 15, 16 more resistance, you'll be a max res Susano. I'm okay with the lower crit rate on him. For stage of game, I think the attack and everything else is good, but if you could get him a little bit more HP as well, I think you'd find him to be more effective. The Chow's not ruined. Ralk, we're in the same situation here. Even with the Talia crit lead, it's only 67 crit rate. That's not quite enough. So if you could boost that crit rate and the attack... Actually, looking at the stats here... Yeah, he's missing a rune. I knew it. Okay, yeah, so he obviously needs... you're obviously not using him if he's missing a rune, so we'll move past him. The Colleen, at that speed, you're probably not using her. I'm thinking this was an old R5 Colleen that you just changed out. But obviously she needs just a lot more speed. All the other stats are fine, just needs more speed. The Verd, we're Swift broken, speed is maxed. So the Verd needs a lot more HP. Just really, it needs a lot more HP. And then after you've added a lot more HP, we could think about a little bit more speed. Zhongfei, a little bit more defense would be nice. The resistance is in no man's land, so either get rid of it all or add a little bit more. And you've got him in Violent Revenge. Overall, I think the build is fine, just a little bit more defense. Obviously, he's very slow. I'm not sure what you're using him for. It looks like probably another R5 build. If this Zhongfei is for R5, take him off of Violent, though. In R5, the more turns you take, the more often the boss attacks you, and so the only monsters that should ever be in Violent are your healers and your cleansers. And only if your cleanser is a healer as well, like Annabelle. But basically your sustain monster should be in Violent and everybody else should not be in Violent. So I know Zhongfei can put up the 15% heal, but the boss can strip that as well, so he should be in a vampire build. Okay, Spectre is obviously TOA, and this build looks good for TOA. Beretta, I'm sure, is TOA as well, so he needs... Can't remember if TOA is 45 or 55 accuracy. I think it's 45. So I think he needs 12 more accuracy, but it might be 22. The Rika build needs more defense and HP and speed. So the Despair Guard is a good solid build. We just kind of need the general stats up. Rika's for TOA as well. Man, that's kind of a waste. Rika's so amazing. I would want to use Rika in more places, but okay, if she's for TOA as well, then we'll move past that. Rakan, same deal. You've got the crit damage build, but without enough crit rate. So if you can't get the crit rate up, then use a crit rate slot 4 instead of a crit damage slot 4. Hey, Guillermo, good to see you. Glad you're able to make it. Meihu Wang. Solid overall build, just needs a touch more accuracy for the defense break. Rocky needs more attack. You could give up some of the accuracy. I know Rocky's skill 2 is an AoE defense break, but her skill 3 is the real reason to use her these days. So, Joel, I did not do that video yet, but it's actually on my list, and it's something I plan on doing in May to talk about resistance and accuracy. So back to the Rocky, I would like to see her a little bit faster, a little bit more HP defense, but for stage of game, I mean, I know there's only so much you can do when you're not raiding a lot, so the overall stats on the Rocky are fine. The main thing is get that attack up, even if it means bringing the accuracy down. Garo, solid build. Solid build for I think your overall rune quality, solid build. In the long term, you want to get about 3,000 more HP, another 100 or 2 defense, and you could actually lower Garo's crit rate a little bit, bring him closer to 60, and he turns into a really nice Miho counter. That's nice, Damien. Yeah, the whole game changes for you. Once you start farming R5, the whole game changes. Like, this whole review is different. Okay, the Shayna build, so same story, you're using that Talia attack lead, but the crit rate is still on the low side, and but she does have nice defense. Everything else I think here is good. Philippe, thanks. Sorry I couldn't get straight through to you, but I'm gonna be running for 2 more hours, so hopefully we can see you in that hour if you make it back. Ramagos build, he just needs a touch more defense, and he's good overall. Bert, you start R5. You don't go straight into R5. I think that's one of the misconceptions. You start R3. And you start R3 as soon as you're able to, and you use R3 to get yourself to R4 and R5. Yeah, the Ramagos could be better on Will, but, you know, it depends on how you use it. Okay, so the Briand, I'm assuming this is a TOA monster. If that's the case, then he's fine. The Delphoy could use a little bit more defense, but the overall build here is... the main thing with Delphoy is you need it to be slower, and ultimately you want to get your Delphoy onto Violent. The Copper's probably needing more defense, but the biggest thing with Copper is that crit rate. Even with an Imisetti boost, your Copper's only a 57 crit rate, so you wouldn't be able to reliably use it. The Mav is either not being used or it's for TOA. Either way, it's fine. The Chassoon, Violent Nemesis, is a nice build. She just needs more defense. The Orochi is going to need a lot more speed and a little bit more defense. The Ravidi build is solid. The Olivia build is fine as well. We're going to move past Bart because I doubt you're using him much. Fen Yang build is good, just more accuracy. That's the main thing with the Fen Yang, more accuracy. Yeah, we're gonna have to start to move. I think we're gonna have to start to move past a lot more of these monsters. Okay, Xingxi unruined. Katarina just needs a touch more crit rate. Railsberg needs a lot more speed, a little bit more crit rate. The Lucian build is solid, but get it to 85 crit if you can. And then I think we've reached unruined monster territory. Ardella, we don't use that much. The Homunculus, same thing. Crit rate needs to be up to be in a crit damage build. Lag probably needs to be a lot faster. Hathor, you might be... see, Hathor is mainly an RTA monster. Like, you really don't even need runes on Hathor in the game anymore. Hey, Najera, I do my best. Yeah, Team 17K, you're right. Here's the deal. Guys, moving forward, because I'm not going to get through everybody at this rate, I'm going to ask you guys to start putting some more of your monsters in storage. Put out just 15 to 20 monsters, the ones that you really want me to actually review, because I'm not going to get through everybody. So as we move on, the next person is going to be Mr. Saipan if you're here, and then Bert, and then Rahul. You're the next 3. So if you guys could do me a favor, put everything in storage but the 15 or 20 monsters you want me to look at, and this way we're going to be able to get through a lot more people. Probably should have done that in the beginning, but this is like only my first dedicated account review stream. So yeah, I'm learning. We'll do better next time. Okay, so the Hathor, I saw Rahul said TOA. I think there's other monsters you could use in TOA, but it is true. Hathor could be used in TOA, so if that's the case, she just needs more defense. And then I'm going to scroll through here. The Ashubal build is solid. I'm just looking if there's any other main... Jin should be on a crit damage build if you're able to get the crit rate up. And Gemini needs to be a little bit faster. And I think we're going to have to wrap up through that review. Yeah, I didn't know what to... You wanted me to look at your Skogels. Okay, I'll take a look at your Skogels before we wrap up the review. Okay, he needs a little bit more defense and speed, and he does not need the crit damage. You can also give up the accuracy in order to get it. And then this one, he has no speed at all. The other thing, so we're... Despair Skogul's kind of interesting, actually. But I don't think you're... I mean, it's interesting, but... Yeah, it works. It works, to be honest. I'm fine with the Despair Skogul. So, main thing is they just both need a little bit more speed, and then the second Skogul would be nice with more resistance as well. Caesar, I appreciate that. To be honest, to do something specific to meta is actually harder because then I have to go study the whole account and know exactly how the account works together. It's usually it's usually easier for me to just kind of review the monsters in general as they are, rather than trying to put them all, like review how they should all be working together. Let's see here. Robert, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks, Brutal, for the support as well. And thank you guys as well, Naher and all of you guys, Toothpick. I really appreciate that feedback. And Lewis, I will definitely have you on the list. We're hopefully going to start to move along faster. Now, Mr. Saipan, are you still here? I see King said he's still here, but I can't remember who King is. Team 17K. So I am still doing everybody in order. Just to be fair, Team 17K, so you wouldn't actually be next. Okay, so it seems Mr. Saipan's not here, so Bert is going to be the next one. Bert, are you here? Caesar, I appreciate that. Okay, seems Bert's not here, so Rahul, I know you are here. Which server am I... Oh, just at the last minute, Bert made it. Okay, which server should I be on, Bert? Same one. I'm on global right now. Perfect. All right, so we've got Bert is playing for almost 5 years. Nice. You don't do RTA. We're Conqueror 3 Arena, and we've got some slower Dragon time. So you're more of a casual kind of early game player. And then Rahul will be Asia next. Okay. So, did we clean up? Yeah, we cleaned up the monster box. Thank you for cleaning up the monster box, Bert. I appreciate that. So let's take a look here. Our Lapis is on Vampire Broken. And basically the Lapis could use a little bit more crit damage, but obviously you're early game, so you know what, guys? Let me take a quick skim through. Because you're early game, I want to get a quick skim through and see where you should be focusing your resources, mostly. So you've got a Theo, but it's not skilled up. You've got a Josephine, who's really honestly not going to be benefiting you that much at your stage of the game. You can use her, certainly, but she's maybe not your primary focus. Your Beth is actually your Feynman Farmer. I can see that now. So we're in Fatal Energy. The Verd is going to be your DB10. Zhongfei and Beretta. You're building a Sophia probably for a GB10 team, which is nice. Your Lucian is lacking crit rate. Okay, I think I've got a better idea of where your account is now. So we're going to start with the Beth, because this is going to be your primary Feynman Farmer. So the overall stats are good, but I would just like to see a little bit more crit rate, even if it means turning down the, tuning down the attack. And then for Feynman, I believe you need an effective speed of 143 or 144. So, yeah, Rahul, I said he was building her for it, not that he's actually using her there. So with your Beth, Giacomo is correct. You don't need the resistance. And then Red Ripper got me 144 then. Thank you, sir. So I'm assuming your speed tower is not built up, which means you're probably going to need your Beth to be somewhere around 135 speed to make her into a Feynman farmer. And so basically get that speed up a little bit, get the crit rate up a little bit, and then drop, and you can trade off the attack and you'll be fine with that. Now, as you're looking towards your farming teams, this Lucian, it's that same thing I've mentioned with other people. You can't benefit from the crit damage if you don't have enough crit rate. Manuel, I am going to do everybody that I have time for. We're just taking we're taking everybody in order as they came in. So for the Lucian, we need to get that crit rate up, and then for the Sophia, she can be used as a defense breaker in certain GB10 teams, but at your stage of the game, I'd be more focused on getting and building a Lauren. I don't see one down here. And those are the two big things you're missing right now. You need to get a Lauren and you need to get a Fran because they're going to work for you in almost all content. They're going to be monsters you want to focus on, and they're free-to-play monsters. So, yeah, definitely I would work on getting the Lauren and the Fran, and then work on your Beth a little bit so you can level those two up. For the rest of your monsters, you're not going to really need to use your Lapis that much once you have the Beth built up. You really don't need Rena all that much either. She's more of a PvP monster, and you're probably not to that point yet. You can use her on your AD, but just don't focus your best runes on her. Exactly, Rahul. Well, Sophia is more consistent, but Lauren is easier to rune, and that's why I said to get the Lauren. Focus a little bit of love probably on your Theo if you're doing any kind of PvP. And then the one big thing I want to mention here, it looks like because you don't have water twins, you're probably not... Oh, you do have we have a Sabrina. Do you have a Talia? You do not have a Talia. You do not have a Shayna. So you're still in kind of the Bella stage of GB10. So you might also want to fuse a... You might also want to fuse a Veramos and start working your way towards GB10. So I would say probably your... I'm not sure exactly if you're already doing GB10, because I see you've got Teshar, Lucian, and Shannon, so you might be doing GB10 without the Veramos. Kind of hard for me to tell, but if you're not, then you might fuse the Veramos. Either way, though, the first two things I would do for you, go out and get a Fran, get a Lauren, and 6-star those. That would be my biggest recommendation to you. Kind of hard, honestly, for me to give you specific advice on runes because you're still just getting restarted. So I don't want to like go ahead and say like all these monsters are missing these stats. You know that they need to be, you know that you need to farm a little bit more. That's the main thing. You want me to look at your Jemire? I certainly can. My chair is actually black, so here's the deal, guys. I actually ordered a green screen almost a month ago, but because of you know what's going on in the world right now, it's not a priority item, and Amazon deprioritized the shipping, and so I'm still probably a month away from getting the green screen. So right now I'm using a camera that does background replacement, but it catches my chair a lot, and that's why there's a flicker behind me. So eventually I will have a green screen as soon as it gets delivered. So we're gonna look at your Jemire. Okay, so you've got a crit damage built Jemire. Hey Zachary, glad you were able to make it. So Jemire is on Violent Energy. So where are you using the Jemire? You use them in GB10. Got you. Okay. Yeah, I'd say solid build for the GB10. I think... yeah, it's a solid build for GB10. The one thing, though, is you went crit damage, but he has no attack. So just in case you guys don't know how it works, basically, let me see if I can pull something up real quick. I want to, let me see if I can pull something up to try and help explain this. Because this is actually something I think that's really important when you're ruining your monsters to think about. Okay, it's not going to pull up. So basically the deal is that every monster has a base multiplier on their skills and their attack. And then your, so like let's say it's 400 attack. You multiply by attack, and then from attack, you multiply by crit damage. Hey guys, I apologize. I've got to pause the stream for just a moment right here. I think I just need a break. I'm gonna go ahead. Let me finish explaining what I was talking about with the Jamire. So basically, your skills multiply attack, and then when you crit, your crit damage multiplies the total damage. So having a lot of crit damage without attack ultimately winds up doing a little bit less damage than just having a lot of attack. What you want to have is like crit damage plus attack both, but you don't want to have only one or the other. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and just put up a dungeon run right here. Everything's okay. I'm feeling a little bit. I think I just need to go get one more glass of water. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this on auto, and I will be right back, guys. We're just gonna take a 2-minute break, and I'll run the Lumal team so you've got something to watch, and I'll be right back. No, the reviews aren't over. Oh, I forgot to mute the microphone. You guys heard me grabbing something to eat. I apologize. Okay, there we go. Yeah, yeah, they're I need to put in a scheduled break, I think, for the next stream. Yeah, we'll have to schedule a break on the next stream. So, let's see who is up for that next review. We're jumping back in now. That's Rahul, so we'll switch over to Asia server as soon as this run is done and go over to Rahul. Yeah, I just have to figure out how to schedule the intermission. Hey, big man, how you doing? Hey, Austin, thanks for coming by. I appreciate you making the stream. Draven, I did my first couple of streams on Twitch, and because I built the channel on YouTube, nobody really knew me there, and it was just nobody showed up, and it's not quite the same thing, so that's why I switched over to YouTube instead. Alright, let us start this out while we switch over to Asia server. Toothpick, you should be in line. I don't know exactly where, but I'm going with everybody in order as we get through them. Yeah, the time zone thing, it makes it tough. I am going to do, my next stream I'll do is a nighttime stream. Nighttime, my time, obviously, so that I'm going to try and just kind of vary it around so people can make it to different streams from different time zones. Joel, I would go with raid if you haven't been raiding much. It's important, just as important to build your monsters. Excuse me, it's just as important to grind your runes as it is to get runes. And sorry, Rahul, I switched slowly. If you could put one more message up, I'd appreciate it. And then what was the other question here? Okay, so the deal with towers is a tower is like it just lowers the amount of rune quality that you need. So, for example, if you have a level 5 attack tower, it gives you 10% base attack. It's the same thing as having an extra 10% attack sub on one of your runes. And so you want to build your towers, obviously, because they help. But people always say, like, if I don't have a max tower, I can't do something. And that's not true. All it really does is lower the rune requirement. So if you have a max tower, you need 20% less attack than if you don't have an attack tower at all, basically. Okay, Rahul, we got you here. Hey, Vrozar, glad you were able to make it. Thanks for stopping by. Vanessa Clara Bellinis Omduat. Vanessa Clara Bellinis Omduat. You've got no immunity, and Josephine would rip it apart. But it's an AD. I don't know how many people would actually use Josephine. I think your bigger issue, though, is probably Tiana Zyros. Like, Gemini Tiana Zyros. Depends on how fast your Clara is, I guess. Okay, so we have Lapis here. Yeah, so the Omduat would cut nicely. I don't know how the Clara would probably get outsped. It depends on what level you're trying to get into. Like, that would be a really effective C1, C2, maybe C3 defense, but I think it would have trouble in Guardian. So I'm not sure which level you're going for. I think it would be a little slow for Guardian. For the general concept, because you don't have a lot of control, it's more of a disruptive defense. GB10 and R5 monsters. Okay, for C1, C2, that would be a really solid defense. Yeah, no, I think that would actually be really interesting. Test it out for a few days and see how it goes, but the main thing is test it through Rush Hour and see how it does through Rush Hour. All right, so we're looking at your GB10 and R5 monsters. So we skip Lapis, Sigmarus, you might be using in GB10. Solid build. 85 crit rate is not enough, obviously, for GB10 to be 100%. You need 100%, but it's an overall very solid build. Sabrina needs more attack. And I think the crit damage rune is not maxed, yeah. So the Violent Focus is fine. You got to max that crit damage rune. Well, you don't necessarily have to max the speed too, because you're speed tuning. So honestly, the big thing here is Sabrina is too fast. If you're using Sabrina for GB10, you don't need to give her all that speed. She doesn't need to be that fast, but you want her to hit a lot harder. So I would go for an attack slot 2 rune as opposed to the speed rune. It was speed, right? Yeah. Accuracy is good. She doesn't need the resistance, as Big Man said. And let's see, your Talia. I would prefer Talia in Rage if you can get it. As you said, your Talia is faster than she needs to be, and she doesn't have enough attack or crit damage. Sabrina, see, the thing is, if you put your Sabrina in Violent and your Talia in Rage, then Sabrina can turn cycle Talia for rifts. The Talia doesn't need to turn cycle herself. And then the Talia her big damage skill is 4 cooldown, her skill 3, the Deadly Dance. So she just tends to work a little bit better on Rage. So we're looking for DB10. What was you want a DB10 and R5. Okay. So we've got Hua. Hua needs to be a little bit faster. You can get away with less crit rate because you're going to have a lot of times you're going to have that 19 crit rate lead from Hua, and she doesn't really have to crit 100% of the time. She also has a lot more accuracy than she needs for R5. You only actually need 15 accuracy for R5. So if you could transition some of that crit rate and some of that accuracy and get, in exchange for that, more speed and a lot more attack, I think you'll find she does better for you. Zhongfei. Triple energy is fine. His build overall is fine. I got for R5, that's perfectly fine build. I'm not sure if you're using Chasun in either place, but she needs more defense, and if you're using her in If you're using her in R5, she needs a little bit more accuracy as well. Just get to 15 accuracy. Lucian needs 2 more crit rate, and if you can get him a touch more defense, it'll be a little bit more stable. Swift Blade, and I know you like to use your Lucians for PvP. Your Bella just needs a little bit more speed. Accuracy is fine, a little bit more HP if you could. Peter, it's like basically if your speed tower is maxed, the minimum is 126. So if your speed tower is not maxed, then just add a few more of that. That's the slowest monster on the team. So the slowest monster on the team must be 126. And that's not combat speed. That's actual speed, since you'll have the... it's 126 plus a max speed tower, basically. So let's see, the Fran definitely needs more defense. That's the biggest thing with Fran. More defense and a little bit more speed if you could. Your Veramos needs a little bit more attack if you could. Well, you're not using Vero. I can tell you're not using Vero. But if you were using Vero, it would need more HP and more attack. Did I catch all the monsters you wanted me to look at? Yeah, Rahul, it's not about the GB10 boss, it's about the waves. Who else did you need me to look at? Garo and Lauren, you got it. Okay, so Garo needs more attack, and I would take a little bit less crit rate with him. I'm not sure where you're... if you're using him for PvP, then I would take a little less crit rate with him to make him a Miho counter. But the main thing is he just needs a little bit more attack, and then... if you could get a little bit more HP, that would make him a little bit safer. That would be the main thing there. And the Lauren is Garo R5. The boss multi-hits, and your Garo's kind of squishy. He wouldn't survive frontline R5, I don't think. Yeah, he would die on the jump on R5. The Lauren, she needs more defense and more HP. Be nice if she had a little bit more. Oh wait, we're talking just for GB10 here. Sorry. So for GB10, you want to get your Lauren to 85 accuracy because the mid boss has unlimited resistance. So that would be the main thing for your Lauren. If you're using her for GB10, is to get that 85 accuracy. If you're using her for PvP, then you would want to get a little bit more defense and a little bit more speed, and you could actually go down on the accuracy. Yeah, you're right, big man. Also the Oblivion. But the Garo definitely wouldn't survive frontline either way. Okay, who do we have next here? Draven. Draven is up next. Wolf, okay. Honestly, there's no way you'll survive first jump with those stats, Rahul. I don't think so. Anyway, I mean, you might, maybe if the boss glancing hits a lot, but you're not going to consistently survive. And that's the thing. You don't want to be building a team that's not 100%. I'd rather go raid R4 or R3 and be 100%. Hey, Joel. Sorry I wasn't able to get to the account, but thank you for joining us for the... we didn't? Yeah, we didn't. But thank you for joining us for the stream. I appreciate it. And have a good night. Okay. Guys, I gotta be honest. I don't think I'm gonna make it 3 hours. I know I said I would try and do 3 hours, but... yeah, the account reviews, I think I'm probably going to have to break it up into more streams. So I'm going to do Draven, Arnold, and I'm going to do Ben, and I'm going to have to stop with the account reviews at that point. But we'll pick our winners. Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, I don't like to be the type who complains. I just felt a little under the weather today, so I think it was just a little bit more than than I could do there. Yeah, Ben, I actually cut off with you because I know you were sending me messages in the comments next time that you were I know it's really early in the morning for you and you showed up specifically for this. Yeah, Team 17K, sorry bro. You were like 15 further down the list. I couldn't make it. So I'll try and think of a more organized way to do it next time. Part of it is going to be having people put monsters in their box so that we're not doing so many monsters. But we'll keep scheduling these until I've gotten through everybody. Okay, so we are on Draven's account and we're starting off with a 300 speed Wusa. Yeah, sorry zombie, I didn't... didn't quite make it. Yeah, we'll do some... I'm going to do some RTA tomorrow night on the Rush Hour stream. I think for... how many can win the trans... Oh, it's one trans scroll, Raymark, but we're doing 100 entries, and then next Friday night, Ace and I are going to RTA. So it's 50 entries for each of our channels, and he and I are going to RTA. So if you won the entry on my channel and I beat Ace in RTA, then you'll get a 1 in 50 chance to win. Or if he wins, then his channel will get a 1 in 50 chance to win. Yeah, I can't do anything about the Rush Hour stream because that's just when Global Rush Hour is, but I am going to try and vary the streams throughout the week on time so that the other servers can see it. Okay, so let's take a look at Draven's Wusa right here. Big man, I was C3 and I had a big... I was actually like rank 1100 in RTA and then I had a huge losing streak. And so now I'm somewhere around C2, I think. I got to stop using Oki in RTA. I have got to stop using Oki in RTA. He's just like never works for me. Okay, you don't need an entry out of trash in RTA. And there, by the way, if you guys have questions about the Transcendent Scroll giveaway, there is a video in my channel. It just says giveaway and it gives all the details. Judson, I won't be able to do any more accounts today. I just I'm a little fatigued. I'm doing the last 3, but I'm going to schedule more streams. And Raymark, you are allowed to win 2 entries. There's about 15 more entries being given away, and we're going to draw 4 more entries from the video yesterday at the end of this account. Okay, so to the Draven review, we're in Swift Revenge, which the Revenge is kind of cool with Wusa. Obviously, you prefer Will, but I'm sure that these are just really fast runes. Yeah, 25, and slot 6 is always hard to get fast, and you're 27. So the overall build on the Wusa, is there a defense? Yeah, the slot 6 is a defense. The only thing I would mention is that Wusa's heal scales to HP. So if you could swap out that slot 6 to a... if you could swap out that slot 6 to an HP rune, even if it meant giving up a couple of speed, I think you'd find an improvement on the overall effectiveness, but not if it meant giving up like 10 speed. If your drop-off was like 10 speed or more, I'd stay with the defense rune. If you could just lose 2 or 3 speed, I would go to an HP rune. Camilla build. Oh, I just realized I did not show profile. So you're currently in G1, you're a G2 player, C2 RTA, and F2 Special League, which just tells me you don't do Special League. Really good times, so you're going to be more of an endgame account, which I kind of figured when I saw the Wusa. That was what reminded me of it. All right, our Camilla is solid HP. You didn't ignore the attack. Good defense, good speed. So this is just a good all-around build on Wusa. I'm sorry, on Wusa. On Camilla, obviously. If you could get an extra couple of accuracy for the slow on skill 2, but honestly, it's a solid build. Your Camilla's build better than mine, to be honest. So there's a Cleave Alicia, and it's another really solid overall build. Probably, if you could trade off some of that resistance for accuracy, it would be good. If you could bump the crit damage a little bit, it would be good. And I am assuming that your Alicia here is speed-tuned with attack bar boosters, because she is on the slow side, but if she's speed-tuned, then the speed is good overall. For your stage of the game, to be honest, 171 feels a little bit slow on the Bastet. I would have expected it to be slightly higher, but I do really love a resistance build Bastet. Mine is there as well. I would like to see about 5 more accuracy, and you don't really need the crit rate. As a matter of fact, you might even want to get rid of the crit rate because it turns it into a nicer Miho counter. Let me change this music because this is kind of weird. There we go, that's a little bit better. The Zyros does not need 100% accuracy. I figured it would be an accuracy slot 6. So just so you know, no monster ever needs over 85 accuracy. There is no difference between 85 and 100. So obviously, since you're in an accuracy slot 6, the rest is just coming from subs. But if you could gem off some of those subs and boost your crit rate. Best item fight runes, got you. Got you. Okay. Yeah, and again, I mean, because I don't know your exact comps, a lot of times, your account is obviously very well built. I mean, you can tell all of the runes makes sense. So you've probably speed-tuned a lot of monsters in a specific way that I wouldn't necessarily be able to recognize without seeing the comps. And so that's pretty much where I'd leave it. The Bastet, if it's speed-tuned properly, then it's perfect exactly as it should be. The one thing with the Zyros, like I said, it doesn't need the 100 accuracy. 85 is fine. Honestly, I would probably rather see the Zyros even be closer to around 50 accuracy and have more damage. But I'm assuming you're using it in a Tiana cleave again, and that's why I say that. So it depends on where you're using it. The Garo build is really solid. If you could transfer a little bit of resistance to accuracy and take better advantage of the skill 2 stun, and if you could get just a touch more HP, but overall it's a solid build, and I'm assuming Nemesis, yeah. So the 2 best builds for Garo are going to be Vampire Nemesis, Vampire Revenge. I've done both of them. I really don't have a preference between them. They both have their positives, and either way is fine. Chaiwu, super fast. You've got good HP and defense. This is a very efficient set. The only thing I'll mention again is you don't need that 100 accuracy. If you could transfer 15 accuracy into something else, then you could just make the set even more efficient. 201 Bernard is just sick, so that's really nice. A little bit of accuracy with the I'm seeing the red numbers. I can't say I blame you, but I don't think I would waste 15% efficiency on a rune. Well, it's for 13% efficiency on a rune just for the red numbers. but I do some weird stuff with my OCD too, so I can't blame you. So for the Bernard, you just want to see a little bit more accuracy, but the overall Bernard build is awesome. So the Swift Lucian is obviously part of a cleave, and if that's the case, he needs 4 more crit rate. The Fen Yang build is really solid, but the 0 accuracy is concerning for me. That's not Swift. I'm sorry. Yeah, obviously I meant Fast Lucian. I meant the Fast Lucian, not the Swift Lucian. So the Fen Yang, the big thing here is accuracy. I know he triple hits on skill 1, but the defense break is what makes him so OP. And I mean, he doesn't need crazy accuracy because it's a triple hit, but if you could even just give him like 20 accuracy, I think you would you'd find him more effective. And then the resistance, I would try and commit one way or the other. Either try and bring the resistance up to 85-90, or get rid of some of that resistance and trade it for speed and accuracy. So you mentioned your Lucians are broken, and this one is another really solid build. I've got nothing to add to that one. The 100 resistance on Tiana does matter, so where you only need 85 accuracy, you do need the 100 resistance. So this is a really nice overall build. I'm assuming this is a turn 2 shield will cleave, which it is, and so it's just a really solid build. The only thing with Tiana that I'd mention is, and this is such a small detail because these are sick runes, but if you could throw your Tiana onto Nemesis, actually it depends on what your shield will team is, but assuming that you want your Tiana acting first, if you throw her onto Nemesis, it gives you a chance to cut the enemy as well. Pungbake is another really nice build. I've got nothing to add here, except maybe if you could get just a little bit of extra defense. Savannah at 188. So this is going to again depend on your team build. Yeah, I agree with Big Man. Crit damage build on Tiana is really nice as well. It just depends on the overall team you're running, though. If the team is winning, you don't really necessarily have to change it. It's more like you build a team to do the crit damage build. So this Savannah right here, depending on who you're speed tuning her with. So we're obviously on Swiftblade. The one thing is, I wouldn't necessarily. I'm assuming you're running your Savannah on your AD. Chai Wu Savannah. Okay, so it's speed tuned properly then. I'm going to take away what I was going to say. Yeah, so then that's a really, because your Chai Wu is just about 291 and 288 on a 33 lead. Is that Savannah speed tuned on a 33 lead? Or does it need to be 287? I'm going to assume you know your account and you've speed tuned it. I can't do the math that quickly, so the overall build is really solid. 24, okay. Yeah, so, and I'm thinking about RTA right now, not in-game. If you ran it with a Vanessa, I think it might outspeed the Chai Wu. It might have to be one speed slower, but I'm not positive. Jean needs more accuracy, and I'd like to see her with more resistance. You went with the heavy HP build, so we're speed, HP, but it's not quite enough to be a dozer trap. Overall, Jean build is really solid. Just the biggest thing is the accuracy. Get her up to like 45, 50 accuracy at least, and then if you could bump the resistance a little bit, it would be nice. But this is a super efficient rune set, and I'm not sure how much you want to invest in your Jean either, because adding all those stats makes it a really heavy investment. So that's just if you're using her a lot, that's what I would add. The Amduat, my Amduat is crit damage build, and I can tell you, so you're on Despair Energy. So I've run Amduat on a few different builds. I started him on a build that's nearly identical to yours. He slightly more defense and a little bit faster and a little bit less HP, but basically the same build. And then I switched him onto a crit damage build, and I'll show you the build when I go back to my server. It made a huge, huge difference. Like, I like him so much more on the crit damage build. So basically my recommendation is blow up your Amduat and switch him over to Despair Will crit damage. Even if you've got to drop off 20-25 speed and drop off 5k HP, you're going to like him a lot more. Or at least I did. Okay, the Miho build, I'm assuming Vampire Nemesis, it is. And so the big thing with your Miho here is give her a little bit of resistance to take advantage of her skill 1. A little bit of defense would be nice, but you're probably trying to maximize the Nemesis, which is why the defense is low. So I think the overall build here is really solid. Just give her a little bit of accuracy. And then your Rainbow Mon needs to be on Violent Will. No, I'm just kidding. So that's it. Really solid account, Draven. You've got some monsters in there that are higher efficiency, I think, than even most of the monsters I can make. So really solid overall account. Let me go ahead and just show you. Am I changing servers? Who's next? Arnold is next. So let us see. Arnold, are you here? EU server, runes aren't maxed yet because of FRR. Got you. I did it again. All right, let's see here. Okay, since I'm changing servers, I'm going to jump back over to my server. I just want to show you my Omduat build because that was a monster. I spent a lot of time testing in different builds, and if you can emulate it, Draven, I think you're going to enjoy it. Okay, so Despair Will, and here you go. You can see the stats. Obviously, the crit rate's on the low side, and he is really slow for an Omduat. The one that is the biggest thing is I wish I could get about an extra 20 speed onto this build, but it does speed tune nicely because it allows me to put him behind strippers and defense breakers, and then just do one really big AoE hit. Okay, now let's jump back over to EU server. Yeah, exactly. He, like I said, he is on the... See, I had like the identical build that was 25 speed fat. It was 255 speed, identical stats in Violent Revenge. And in RTA rooms, and he just kept getting controlled, and I finally decided that it was worth giving up. My RTA build is a little bit stronger than that, but I finally decided that it was worth giving up the speed for the will runes because he just kept getting controlled too much. All right, let's go to 8895. And Arnold, drop a message into, there we go. Ding-a-ling dong. Nice. And who was it who asked? Sinan. I'm not going to be able to do, Ben is going to be the last review for today. I am going to start to schedule these account reviews. I'm going to try and do at least one a week, and I'm going to do them at various different times throughout the day, so we try and get people on all servers. But I'll have to set a limit to how many I'm going to do for each one, unfortunately, because they just take a little bit of time. Okay, so we are on Arnold, and what did you ask me? Bit under the weather. I didn't check the profile. You are correct. You are absolutely correct, sir. Philippe, you didn't lose your spot. I actually didn't make it down to you in the list. I wasn't going to be able to make it to you in the list anyway. Okay, so we are C1 Arena, F3 World or F3 RTA, mostly triple S. Your Wind Beast is double S. So a little tip if you're trying to get triple S and Wind Beast, change your homunculus to fire, and you'll be able to do that. Triple S there. Okay, let's go ahead and take a visit. Yeah, sorry about that, Felipe. I know you came back for that too, but we will, like I said, I'm going to keep scheduling these until we get through everybody. Oh, I don't even use Perna in my Wind Beast team. In general, I recommend Water Homunculus. Well, it depends on what monsters you have. Like, Water Homunculus is best for Feynman farming and TOA. But if you're not using a damage over time TOA team, and if you have a Beth or an Alicia, then I would probably go with probably Wind Homunculus. But Wind and Fire are about equal. It just kind of depends on what you need. So the big thing is, if you don't have Beth or Alicia, then you're going to want to be in Water Homunculus. If you have Beth or Alicia, then you can pick whichever one just suits your needs. Okay, so we are looking at our Sabrina here. Let me just take a look. I'm learning sneaking ahead. All your crit rates are higher, so you're probably not using the Talia lead. Assuming you are not using the Talia lead, then your Sabrina needs another 10 crit rate. Definitely needs more accuracy. I assume you're using Sabrina with Shayna, but in GB10, if you're using your Sabrina in GB10, then she needs more accuracy as well, because you wouldn't be using Shayna there. The Julie build, I suspect this is slightly under damage, but I'm not positive. Slightly under damage for GB10. It's probably good enough for DB10. I'm not really sure off the top of my head, but I would assume you wouldn't have runes of this quality on her if it's not working. Works with Lucian. Okay, yeah, I just wasn't sure if you were bringing them under 30% or not. I thought she needed to be closer to 200 crit damage with the 1600 attack, but if it works, then that's all that matters. So Galleon, I mentioned this a lot on the last review. You don't need anything over 85 accuracy. Anything over 85 accuracy is wasted stats. The 82 speed tune on a shield will, it's kind of hard for me to tell where you're using this, but it seems like you could do a little bit faster of a Galleon and maybe just slightly slower on the accuracy. Varad is the opposite. I'd like to see Varad with a little bit more accuracy because of the value of his skills, but that is talking mainly about PvP. If Varad is just a TOA monster for you, then the 50 accuracy is fine. The 50 crit rate, 100 crit damage is kind of a weird combination. You've just got a ton of crit damage in subs. And that 3 speed rune, this rune you could just change out completely and make your Varad better. 68 resistance is kind of no man's land as well. So I'm just going to say the overall Varad build probably needs to have some runes shifted. I would like to see a little bit more HP, a little bit more accuracy, and then you don't need any of that crit rate or crit damage, or you need more crit rate and more attack. But you want to commit to one build or the other. You just don't want to be caught in the middle. Same thing with the resistance. Either go all out with resistance or no resistance, but generally speaking, Varad doesn't need the resistance. So the Talia is in Violent. I prefer my Talia in Rage, but you're okay either way. She's got really good overall stats for being in Violent. Just remember, Talia does not need any accuracy whatsoever. You could take all that accuracy, gem it out, and give it to other stats, or swap the runes. The Emma, I'm just going to have to assume you're not using Emma. This is kind of a weird build. Violent Nemesis. So the thing is, like, she's got every stat you need, except the defense is low and the speed is just non-existent. So I'm kind of confused what you're using Emma for. But yeah, I mean, basically you want to do this build, but with more defense and like 100 more speed. And I understand at your stage of the game, maybe you can't add 100 more speed. Maybe it's like 70 more speed, but she just needs to be much faster. And you could get rid of... She goes with Bulldozer for heal. Okay. But yeah, even so, she just needs to be turn cycling more. Even if you have to give up some... like the resistance and the accuracy, you could give up all of that and make her faster. Okay, so the Shihu, this is PvP build. We are in triple 2 set. Is it worth to farm GB10 for 3 months? Yes, absolutely. I farm GB10 more than almost any other dungeon still. Because of Swift runes are going to be useful all the way throughout the game. Despair runes are all useful all the way throughout the game. And then Fatal runes have their place. So GB10 is always worth farming. Okay, Shihu build. I'd like to see a little bit more accuracy, a little bit more speed, and a lot more attack. And if you had to trade off a little bit of HP to accomplish that, and if you had to trade off a little bit of crit rate to accomplish that, I would do it. Bulldozer, 98. Wow, that's impressive. This build, it's like you built your Bulldozer as an Arnold. So, overall stats of Dozer are fine. I mean, honestly, Dozer doesn't really need any speed. I'm assuming you're not using an Imisetti, which is why you've got the 97 crit rate. I think you might find it possible to boost the crit damage if you build an Imisetti and change up your team. Let me just make sure one other thing. Okay, he is in Will. That's the most important thing. Yeah, I mean, so the overall stats are fine. Okay, the Kali build, this almost looks like you're using it for the light Kairos dungeon. Now, my Kali is built completely different. I've done the slow Kali and the fast Kali, and I really prefer the fast Kali. I've speed tuned her with Bastet, and she's amazing. One-shots Fen Yang, Tyrannus, all that type of stuff. But the slow Kali has her place in the game as well. This is more of a PvE build, and as a PvE build, it is perfectly fine. It just doesn't need all the resistance. You could transition the resistance into something else. Shayna build is good. Violent Shield, so there's obviously a PvE. Get her to 85 crit rate if you can. Everything else is good. Kamoon is going to be in, let's see, Swift Destroy, which is same build as mine. And I like my Kamoon in a crit damage build, but I'll be honest, it's not something everybody can accomplish because it's a really high rune quality that's required for the crit damage build. So I think your Kamoon build is good. I would like to see some more speed to turn cycle the shield a little bit more, and I would like to see some more HP. And you've got like some extra crit rate and crit damage in the subs, but because you don't really have any attack in the subs, you're not benefiting from that much. So if you could trade off the crit rate and crit damage for speed and HP, you'd probably like your Kamoon a little bit more. The Zyros, so we're in a 2-2 set with Will. The attack is low, I see that right off the bat, and the crit rate is low. Everything else is pretty good. The speed, I'm not sure if you've speed tuned or not. So if it's not speed tuned, because it looks a little slow to me, but if it's speed tuned to like a double attack bar booster, that's fine. Or if you're using it for like TOA, then it's fine. But if you're using it in PvP, it's on the slow side. If you're using it in PvP without the double attack bar booster, I mean. So the Rika, it's with the slow galleon. Okay, got you. Yeah, so that's why I said I wasn't sure if it was speed tuned. So the Rika, I would like to see a touch more accuracy, but 50 accuracy is really okay for her. HP is on the low side. Defense is good. Attack is good. Everything else is good. I would just like to see her a little bit faster, but some of that depends on speed tuning. And I like that you've got her in Despair Will. A lot of people don't put Rika in Will, myself included. She's one of the monsters I actually want to redo today and put her in Will. So good job with that. Your Triana, you added in a lot of resistance, so that's very good. The HP is low. The HP is low, and we're in speed, defense, HP. That's why. So Violent Will. So Triana in Will is actually a bad thing, and there's a specific reason for that. You're going to use your Triana to counter a couple of types of monsters, one of those being Daphnis. And so what you really want is your Triana to be in Nemesis so that Daphnis can't strip and defense break. There's some other reasons why you don't necessarily want Triana in Will as well. She can throw people off in Will because everybody plays for her to be in Will. So she can screw somebody up if they bring in like a Ganymede. But now I'm kind of talking about RTA because the AI is not that intelligent. So when we're talking about like a not RTA ruined monster, you want to use your Triana to abuse the AI. And part of doing that is to give her really high resistance without Will. The Nemesis is going to help out with that. If you can't accomplish it with Nemesis, then just use Endure so you could max out the resistance. And then the other thing is you're going to want to have more HP. What do I think is better for Tiana? More HP. So you said Tiana, Arnold, but I don't know if that's an autocorrect. For Tiana, I don't know that it matters all that much if it's a mix of HP and defense. Okay, if we're talking about Triana, you never want to ignore defense on any monster. You want your Triana to have at least 1,000 or 1,100 defense, but generally for an RTA build, she should have minimum 43,000 HP if you can do it because it turns her into an ignore defense trap. My Triana is actually built on triple HP and it catches a lot of people off guard. She's Violent Nemesis, triple HP with max resistance in RTA. Now in the game, you probably just want to make sure she's up over 32,000 HP and she'll work for you, but the 25,000 is too low. So you want to get her like over 32,000 HP and then as much defense as you can. If you're using her on an AD, then you need her over 41,000 HP because a lot of people put their Trianas at 40, so a lot of people build their ignore defense monsters to 40. So for AD, you want 41k, and for guild content, you want 31k, basically. Max resistance, don't worry about the damage she does. If you can make her do more damage, that's awesome, but that's super high efficiency runes that aren't necessary. And then my preference, as I said, is not to use Will, but I know Big Man just said he prefers Will, so we all have our different preferences there. Okay, the Copper build, nowhere near enough defense. Your Copper needs to have like an extra 400 or 500 defense because you're gonna run into Copper traps, and I think yeah, so that's where you got to start. You don't need the resistance. You really don't need the accuracy. If you're using him with Emisetti, you can get away with 70 crit rate. If you're not using him with a crit rate booster, then you need to get to 85 crit rate. But first and foremost is you need about 400 more defense to make sure that you don't run into a Copper trap. And then the fact that you've got him on Will is really good and really important. And here's part of why your defense is so low. I see that now. So make sure you keep him on Will as you make the changes. Do I think an AD with Neff, Jean, Rakan, and Tiana will be good? Neff, Jean, Rakan, and Tiana. I think that AD would be really difficult to speed tune because the Rakan is going to be so much slower than everything else. But I think anything with Neff is a giant pain in the you-know-what. So if you've got Neff, like, just congrats to that. The Neff and the Jean are almost redundant because Neff silences while Jean provokes. And so, yeah, Draven, I like Draven's idea of a Belinus. It kind of depends on what you have. And Big Man's right, you know, so maybe something like Vanessa. Something like Vanessa, Neff, Belinus. I don't know. I'd have to see your monster box to give you a better idea. But yeah, I don't think the Jean and the Neff necessarily need to be together because Neff is already silencing. Okay, so our Ethna, to me, she's on the slow side. I figured she'd be on Despair. The Despair Will is nice. I'd still like to see Ethna faster, take more advantage of that huge base speed. She's got 100 crit rate, but no attack. And so you're not really getting that much advantage from the crit rate. I'm assuming it's a crit rate slot 4. I'd rather see her with more attack, and then I'm kind of, to be honest, it's kind of tough. I almost feel like you'd need to just swap a bunch of runes here. I don't think there's an easy shift, but she doesn't need that much resistance. The accuracy level is good. She probably doesn't need quite that much HP. I'd rather see her with a slightly more offensive build, but if you do want to use her as a defense build with all that HP, then give her more defense and take away the crit rate to make her tankier and faster instead. I get that the crit rate is to cycle, but I guess what I'm saying is, what are you cycling for? Like, You're cycling, I don't want to say for the sake of cycling, because obviously she stuns and obviously she defense breaks, but it's like you're cycling for less benefit than you would get otherwise. Like, if you could have 80 crit rate, but also have attack and crit damage and be doing damage, then you would get more out of it than cycling off the 100 crit rate, if that makes sense. Hey, Big Man, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you on the next stream. Okay, so the Lucian build looks really good. Yeah, I would agree with Draven there. You're gonna benefit with the 33 speed lead on Tiana. So the Lucian build looks good, very solid overall. If you could get in a little bit more defense, that would be great, but I'm assuming it's a PvE Lucian, so if you're not failing, then you're fine. The Ciara, she's Violent Will, she is skilled up. The accuracy on Ciara is great. The build is, honestly, she needs about 200 more defense, and then the thing is, like, you didn't go quite crit rate or quite tanky. So if you're going to go with a low crit rate build, which is what I use a tanky build, then you're going to want her effective HP to be closer to like 170k, and right here your effective HP is somewhere around 110k. So if you're going to go with the squishier Ciara, then you want to have a crit rate turn cycling Ciara. So I think it's... Lewis, I wouldn't be able to do your account review today, but I will definitely try to do it in a future stream. So yeah, I think with the Ciara, part of it is she just requires such a high rune efficiency. It's hard for me to tell you, like, add in stats. But yeah, I would rather see her either have a higher crit rate or be tankier, but not kind of caught in between in the middle. The Leo needs more HP and defense. You can get rid of that 22 speed if you're able to. I know sometimes we are not able to go with the 0 speed Leo, so that's fine. Crit rate, crit damage are good. He doesn't need the resistance. The accuracy is about right. The Orang is a really nice build for PvE. The Skogul needs a little bit more defense. It would be nice with about 10,000 more HP. Does not need the crit rate or crit damage, and would be nice if he had a few accuracy, but it's not necessary. Your Skogul's really fast. It does not have to be that fast, and I just want to check Swift. I know I looked at some Violent Skoguls earlier, and I didn't comment on it. So yours is Swift. I should mention that... and I've mentioned this in videos before, for me, a Violent Skogul should never be used on offense. Violent Skoguls are for defense, and any other Skogul is for offense, basically, because you want to take advantage of the Skogul passive, which is that every time he gets hit, it lowers his cooldown, so you don't want a Violent proc on the rock. Konstantinos, thanks for making it by the stream. Okay, so the Fen Yang needs more defense, and then the accuracy is in No Man's Land. Either boost the, the resistance is in No Man's Land, so either boost the resistance or lower it, and then just get a little bit more defense, a little bit more speed if you can. Fran needs a little bit more attack if it's possible. Everything else on the Fran build looks good, but a little bit more attack because her heal scales to attack. The Lin could use a little bit more crit rate, but overall looks good. The Jean could use a little bit more resistance, does not need that crit damage, especially because she has no attack and no crit rate. So all that crit damage is wasted stats. The HP, it'd be nice if it was a little bit higher, but you obviously have a defense rune here. And yeah, there you go. So it'd be nice if she was in will runes, or if she had a higher resistance. And then if you transition that defense rune to an HP rune. Second Lin looks good. The Amarna, we're in Violent Guard with really high resistance but no accuracy. So with the no accuracy, you're not taking advantage of Amarna's best attributes, which is the brand and the defense break. I'd like to see the Amarna accuracy at least at 25-30%. And the rest of the build is fine. It'd be nice if he was a little bit faster. Oh, I tilt worse than almost anybody, Draven. I am so bad in RTA. I'm a giant baby. I am terrible. I'm absolutely terrible. Okay, we are going to do our last account review with Ben. Then I will draw the winners from yesterday's video, and then I will do a couple of RTAs before I sign off the stream. But Ben is going to be our last account review. So we're EU server. How fast is enough for a Skogul? Arnold, I'd say about 165, 170 is fast enough. I mean, more speed is always good speed. Don't get me wrong. I'm never going to tell you to slow down a monster for the sake of slowing it down, except like Leo or speed tuning or something. But it's more a matter of like the transfer of stats. So about 170 on your Skogul lets you kind of maximize that HP and resistance that you need. Okay, so we're changing to EU server. Oh, I'm on EU server. I am on EU server already. So we are looking for Ben. Ben, just send a message in channel 8895. I'm going to grab one more bottle of water while we wait for Ben to send his message. I will be just back. Arnold, yeah, I post all the stream videos to my channel. Peter, I'll do these reviews about once a week, but I am gonna try and vary the times so that I can reach people on all servers. Ben, are you still here? Read it in the last message. Is you so. Name is now sirs. I'm sorry. Let me. I scrolled back up. I see you now. Okay. Okay, so Ben, we are, let's see, we're Fighter 3, Arena, and RTA. You've got a faster Necro time than a DB10 time, and the Wind Beast is the only one that's not triple S, so you're definitely a mid-game player. A+ World Boss as well. Should good for me, especially the ones... Wind Beast Rider is probably the best Beast Rider. It's hard to tell because I don't have her, so she feels so crazy OP when I face her. But Barbara is crazy OP as well. So I really like... I think Savannah, the Wind one, is better than Barbara, but they might be equal. Like, if I had both, maybe I'd be a better judge. I know my original, the Light Beast Rider is kind of trash. The Dark Beast Rider is really good. The Dark Beast Rider, like I would love the Dark Beast Rider, but to be honest, I don't even think Dark Beast Rider is better than Barbara and Savannah. Like it's either equal or even slightly below. I don't know if you guys ever saw my review on Barbara. I did a terrible review on Barbara. It was like the worst, most inaccurate video I've ever done. I delisted it now. And I just redid it. Yeah, Draven, exactly. Light Beast Rider is like a weaker version of Omduop because it's single target. I mean, it is nice that it has kind of like the strip and turn that into continuous damage and all that, but like I've fought the light one a few times and I barely even noticed it was there. It's just like not a threat whatsoever. Whereas when you see Savannah on the enemy's defense, you build your whole team to counter Savannah. When you see Barbara, you build your team mostly to counter Barbara. When you see the Light Beast Rider, you're like, whatever. You know, it's just not a threat. The Dark Beast Rider you have to pay attention to as well. But I've only seen that one a couple of times. Okay, so... Oh, and then Masha is... probably the weakest of the Beast Riders. She's still a really good monster. It's not a criticism. Masha's still a... Hey, there's a Dark Beast Rider right as we're talking about it. But yeah, so Masha's still a really good monster, but Masha is definitely not like OP the way Barbara and Savannah are. Okay, so let's start taking a look at your account, Ben. Man, you just busting out the LDs that I don't have right in front of me as soon as I open it up. But okay, so the Varad build, awesome HP, awesome defense, a little bit on the slow side. I don't know if you're using him for PvP or not, but he's super tanky. I'd like to see the accuracy over 50, but overall this is a really solid build, and it's Violent Will, which is really nice. Yeah, Draven, so the deal with Masha is that Masha and Verd are terrible together. So what Masha really requires is somebody like Ragdoll or Wedjet, which you're talking now LD5s. But Masha and Barbara work together really well. Something like Masha, Bastet, Barbara is a great combination that helps Masha shine without forcing you into being mono-element. And that's the real problem is Masha and Verd are basically mono-element. There's no leader skill and so forth. And that's kind of the key to my double Beast Rider team. Like, I don't almost ever use Masha by herself. I use Masha with Barbara because Barbara makes Masha shine. But Masha is kind of like a mediocre monster until somebody else helps her. And I get Illusion with 10k plus damage per card. Imran, you can calculate that in the optimizer, and I have a video on the optimizer that would explain exactly how you can calculate how much damage he's going to do. Okay, so the overall Varad build is really good. You've got high efficiency runes. I like the Violent Will. I'd just like to see maybe a touch more speed and accuracy. The Elucia build, so we got good HP, but she needs more defense for sure. She needs a little bit more accuracy. Her first skill triple hits, so that's okay. But I want that sleep to be more reliable, so maybe 30 accuracy would be nice. Be nice if she was a little bit faster, but that could be a question of speed tuning as well. How much speed should Tiana have in a Shield Will comp? Usually about 240, but it really depends on your stage of game, Jimbao. And what monsters you're fighting and how fast the enemies you're fighting are. So our Lucia is Violent Broken. I'd like to see her in Violent Will, but Violent Broken is okay. Hey, Carlos, glad you were able to make it by. And did we finish the Lucia? Yeah, we did. Okay, so our Helena, we got 32k HP, which is solid. I'd like to see a little bit more defense. I'd like to see a little bit more attack because you've got the crit rate, and Helena can do that defense break. Booster CRCD attack. Let's see. We're in Violent Will, which I'm really happy with. I think the resistance, the accuracy overall is good. You want that extra 1 crit rate, but honestly, the 99 is fine with her. So I think the overall Helena build is good. We just need a little bit more defense, which you can get partly by maxing out this slot 3. I had a feeling people never max their slot 3s, and that's only 40 defense. You're going to want to get about 150, 200 more, but you can start by maxing the slot 3. Zyros is on the slow side, but if he is speed tuned with a double attack bar booster, that's fine, or if you're using him for TOA, that's fine. So basically, if he's speed tuned how you want him, then that is fine. Good overall attack and crit rate, but the accuracy, bro. Where is the accuracy? Like, Zyros is the premier resetter in the game, and that 0 accuracy makes me want to cry. I know Draven just like completely had a stroke. I'm surprised he's still typing. I thought he'd be on the floor twitching. So yeah, Zyros isn't even like, we're not talking about gemming 8 accuracy on, like, we're talking about busting out a rune that's got, a lot of accuracy on it. I want to see that Zyros at over 30% accuracy if you can. And 30 is really on the low side, but because he's got so much attack and everything else, I want to see him with 30 accuracy for now. Okay, so our Tiana is plus 137, so Shield Will, I'm assuming. Yes, Shield Will Cleave. Nemesis or Broken? Shield Will Broken. No Shield. It's actually Will Focus Broken. Got it. But your shield runes could be coming somewhere else anyway, so that's fine. She looks like she needs a little bit more HP, but that's probably... that's a resistance rune. So we're speed, defense, resistance. She's got some grinding to be done. So assuming it's a Shield Will comp, it's fine. You basically just need to finish inscribing that slot 6 and get the resistance to 100%. She doesn't really need 43 accuracy either. The skill 1 defense break isn't even 100% defense break. Saksham, I saw you ask about that AD earlier as well. It's just that's something that it's hard for me to completely answer without knowing your monsters. Which is why I didn't answer. Sorry about that, but maybe if Draven's got a good suggestion, that would be good as well. Okay, so the Charlotte, let's see here. Despair, yes. Despair Shield. I'm assuming that this is a PvE. I can't tell if this is PvE or PvP. It's like, if this is PvP, then she's too slow, and if it's PvE, then she should be in a crit damage build. So yeah, I'm gonna say the Charlotte just needs a rebuild. If you're using her for PvP, then she needs to be swift. You could still make her Despair, but she just needs to be faster and tankier if you're using her for PvP. I use mine for PvE, And in that case, she would need a crit damage build, basically. 70 plus crit rate, 85 preferred, crit damage. She doesn't quite need the 97 accuracy. Anything over 60% is probably fine for her. Even 50% might be fine for her. Because it's all AoE attacks, and I'd rather see the, her skill 3 is a triple hit as well. So whenever you have multi-hit skills, you can usually get away with slightly lower accuracy, just like Chilling. Chilling can get away with lower accuracy and be more effective because it's a triple hit skill 1. So your Naomi is obviously a PvE build, so we're not going to talk about the speed. Attack is good, crit damage is good. She's broken set, but that doesn't really matter. She technically doesn't need the 41 crit rate. If you could move some crit rate into even more attack and crit damage, that would be fine. But the overall build there is solid. Your Lyn, you would like to see more crit rate to generate more consistency, and more crit damage is always nice, especially because she's on Fatal. Saksham with no 33 lead, I'll type it out. The Xingshi... Oh, whoops. Xingshi, Harmonia, Juno. That type of team is an incredible pain in the butt. And then your third one can be like a Camilla or something else. So it's a +1, like a Camilla, something like that. Those teams are really annoying to deal with. And that's a good... You see those in Guardian level arena all the time. The Xingshi, Harmonia, Juno, you see those in Guardian level all the time. Okay, so the Lyn, I would like to see her in Rage or Violent. One of those two. I'd like to see more crit damage and more crit rate. But the overall build seems okay. The Luna, I know there is a specific way to speed tune Luna to allow her to turn cycle. I don't remember the exact speed tuning. Say Shizo's videos will explain that for you. But it looks to me like the Luna is too fast. I think the overall stats are good, the crit rate is low, and the speed is too high, so probably what you need to do is change some of that speed for crit rate, and she'll create better consistency in your team. And then the Despair Broken Gianna. I'm not sure where you're going with this, because she's like really slow. Obviously a huge offensive build. She's skilled up, but it's the it's this one. I mean, I just feel like you're not taking advantage of the late night ambush here. So I would want to see her faster. She needs to be speed tuned with your slow cleave. And at 166, I didn't see anything that was that slow. Like the Tiana is 233. Is that quite speed tuned? I don't think that's quite speed tuned. I think the Gianna's a little too slow to be speed tuned. But otherwise, everything else looks good. I would also want to see more HP. Oh, you have Bastet in there. That's why. Okay. Okay, so you're going Tiana, Bastet, Gianna. So that would work for Arena. I don't know about that as a Guild War cleave, though. I don't feel like there's enough damage there, then. You're counting on Gianna to do everything. So maybe if you're doing that in AD, it's Bastet, Tiana, and then like an AoE defense break and Gianna or something. If it's working for you, then that's fine, though. I mean, obviously, if it's working for you, you don't you don't fix what's not broken. Okay, and then this is obviously a BJR Lauren. Somebody said, how about Rakan? But I don't see a Rakan here, so I think that completed the account reviews for today. Let me go ahead and swap back to global server. I wouldn't say trash, man. I thought there were some pretty nicely runed monsters in there. All right, so let's go ahead and pick the winners from yesterday. Let me make sure I have my window up properly this time. Why is that not showing? Okay. How about this? Okay. Okay. So we are going to pick the winners from, we're going to pick 4 more entries. I shouldn't say winners. 4 more entries into the Transcendent Scroll giveaway. There we go. Right. So, copy link address. All right, guys. So here's how it works. Just get my OBS back up. So here's how it works. This is already set up for the video that we released yesterday, the FRR video, and I said we'd pick 4 random winners after 24 hours of release, so we're just about at 24 hours, and we're using this comment picker, and you can see it says don't include replies, don't allow duplicates, so everybody who left a comment got 1 chance. We're going to go ahead and pick the first winner right now, and we're going to pick a winner. Chromex wins the first entry. Whoop, I spelled that wrong. Chromex. And now we're going to go ahead and pick a second winner. Reiner Santos. Go ahead and pick a third. Crafty Full. All right, now I'm going to give 1 more entry on a random guess based on the next entry. So, guys, let's do this. Pick whatever letter you think the winner's name will start with, and whoever enters that letter first is going to be the one who gets it. So enter whatever letter you think the winner's name will start with. Draven switched to N. I don't know if you were first. You weren't first, Draven. Nick Parna had N already. So remember, I said whoever was first was gonna get it. Hey Jay, what's going on? You missed the account review part, but you're towards the end. All right, guys, we're gonna go 5 more seconds, and then I am gonna pick this winner. So we'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the winner is Akbar Home Sapphire. Akbar Home Sapphire. And who is the first person to give an A? Let's come back up here. First person to go A was Camelus. Okay, so those are our 5 entries. Now we're going to do 1 more entry on today's stream. Let me bring back up our game. I'm going to go into an RTA match now. All right, so here's the deal. I'm going to go into an RTA match. You guys have to guess who the first monster that's going to be picked by the enemy is. Not by me, because I know what I always pick the same monster, so it wouldn't be fair. First monster picked by the enemy. If anybody gets it, you're gonna get an entry. Guys, if you're the first person to guess a monster, you cannot change it. But if you are not the first person to guess a monster, I will allow you to change it and re-guess. Andrew, who'd you pull right before FRR? It must be an LD. I think you just pulled a ragdoll. Andrew just pulled a ragdoll. Yeah, Rahul, Kamala said A first. All right, you guys can keep guessing right up until the enemy picks. As soon as the enemy picks, the guesses are closed off. All right, so my first pick will almost always be Fran. Vanessa! Oh, everybody called it. Everybody called Vanessa, but the first one to say Vanessa was Alpha Hippo. Alpha Hippo got Vanessa in just under the buzzer. All right, so how are we going to counter the Vanessa here? I guess I should be looking at my monsters, huh? So we know we want Barbara and Triana probably. I don't want to deal with a Vanessa Triana. Rahul, if you've watched my videos, you know I always pick Fran first, though. That's why I said it had to be the other side. Okay, that Diana pick is messing me up. That Diana pick is not good for me. I might be forced to ban Diana. Oh, but if I ban Diana, I give him speed lead with a Lauren. That's not good either. So I just pulled Gemini the other day. Gemini is brand new for me. No, I'm on global now. So Gemini, are we gonna do it? I don't think this is gonna work. I'm still figuring out how to use Gemini, so I'm probably gonna lose this. Yeah, Gemini was HOH before I started the game, and he was like one of my most wanted monsters. So I'm most likely gonna lose this. He's honestly, he's not even fully skilled up yet, but we're gonna try and do a who. If I'm him, who do I ban? So if I'm him, who do I ban? Does he ban the Oki? No, if he brings in Amelia, he's gonna leave in the Gemini. He's gonna ban the Barbara. Yeah, he's gonna ban the Barbara. Yep. So we're gonna try and do the. Do I need the speed lead here? No, I don't. We're gonna go slow and accurate. Uh-oh. How much damage is that Amelia gonna... Actually, no, we're fine. He can't kill through the, Can't kill me through the, Triana anyway. Oh, see, I told you, Oki never, ever, ever works. Giovanni, if you called it first, then you did get the entry. I will have to scroll back up after this chat. My Oki's been resisted like 9 times in a row at this point. Wow, and Gemini. Like you guys saw, I picked max accuracy lead, right? Gemini missed everything on an accuracy lead. Oh. Alright, well, that Vanessa's attack bar is ahead of the Amelia, so that's the only way I'm getting anything. Yeah, they were all shielded, Andrew Kelly, and oh, maybe they weren't. Maybe you just missed the Amelia then. Maybe you're right. Maybe you just missed the Amelia. He did move before my buffer. He just got hit by the Lauren. Well, technically, Oki didn't. He didn't miss that time. Technically, he just stripped the wrong thing. But he's still 0 for 2 on resets now. Draven, you have no idea. I hate Oki. So he's not 0 accuracy. He's max accuracy. He's max accuracy, and he misses everything every time, always. It drives me so crazy. Oki is the #1 reason I tilt. Like, he never hits anything. Alright, let's drop the Vanessa. I think somehow, despite that big cluster, I might actually win this. Yeah. Oki does not reset. Oki does not ever. Here, I'm even going to show you you guys my Oki. So Oki is with the accuracy lead is 89 accuracy, which is max accuracy. Does not ever reset. Okay, Giovanni, I'm going to check one more time to see who said Vanessa first. I actually have you saying Vanessa third, unfortunately, bro. I can only go based off of what I see. And I can probably even put in, let's see, window capture. Yeah. So here you go. You can actually see the chat on my screen right here. If that helps, I've got Alpha first, Imran second, and Giovanni, you were the last one. Not the last, because whimsical and so forth, but you were third off that list. All right, I'm going to do one more. Yeah, I'm sure it did. It's probably just like lag through YouTube. I truly believe you, but unfortunately, I've got to go by what I see. To be fair, like what comes through to me. So we're gonna do one more. I'll do the same thing, except because Vanessa is so likely to be the first monster, Vanessa won't count, and neither will CR. So actually speed leads. Speed leads will not count. So you guys have to guess the first non-speed lead that the enemy will pick. First non-speed lead. And remember, Fran is a speed lead as well. Rahul, I'll let you guess again because Fran is a speed lead. I like Puckering's best. I like the Puckering's guess. I like the Hathor. I think there's a good shot it'll be Hathor. If he doesn't pick past that, he's trolling. All right, so we'll keep going until on my screen. Until on my screen the enemy is picked. That's where it closes. Dark Beast, right? Yeah, Jana, there you go. All right, so we'll take the Fran. Daphnis. Did anybody even have Daphnis? Did anybody even have Daphnis? I don't think I saw a Daphnis at all. Oh, and he took my Mina. That's not nice. I'm kind of tempted to Oki here, but I hate Oki so much. Maybe Ciara. Maybe we'll go Ciara. Let's counter speed lead. Oh, I already picked Oki. What am I talking about? So if I, let's see. So if I ban the Vanessa, I can reset the Vela with Oki. I knew he would give me the Oki, and then I should be able to just nuke out the Daphnis. Yeah, Ben, part of the problem is I need to move runes. I need to take runes off of Oki because I don't have enough alternatives to him right now. So, let's see. Speed bars, yeah, I can nuke out the Daphnis so we can see every time. Every time. Oh, man. Like, he's missed his last 10 resets in a row, I think. I guarantee you that Daphnis did not have enough resistance either. I guarantee you that. It's just, he is so bugged. All right. I want to give out one more, and I really want to give out one more entry before I end the stream. So I'm going to try this. Yeah, that wouldn't be doing the slime justice. All right, we'll do one more. Same deal. First non-speed lead. I knew Daphnis was going to be mentioned really quick. Alpha, you were second on the Ganny, just so you know. You were second, Alpha. Andrew, you were second on the Lauren. Leonardo, you were second on the Savannah. Rahul, you were second on Verd. All right, here we go. Here we go. Tyrannus. Did someone have Tyrannus? Someone had it early, I'm pretty sure. Whimsical had Tyrannus. He was the first one to say it, so Whimsical got it. All right, now how am I going to counter? He stole my Barbara. So I think we're going to go with, I don't want to overdo wind. Let's do this. I can counter with Dark Beast Rider. I'm sure I can. If I only have Dark Beast Rider. Oh, I was going to counter pick the Miho there, actually. That's kind of a nice pick on his part. Okay, so Mina will handle both the Miho. Mina just rips up his whole team. Mina is awesome there. And could I bust out a Ganny here? I can bust out a Ganny here. Ganny should be really nice here. Yeah, Beelzebub's not very good. Oh, so he's going to ban the Fran. He's going to ban the Fran. There's the Beelzebub runes. Now, it would be easy to fall into the trap of picking on Taurus here, but you want to be able to take care of that Miho, so definitely don't pick... Oh, Draven, Mina counters Miho perfectly, because my Mina has no crit rate if the enemy has negative effects, so all you do is put a negative effect on Miho and then attack it with Mina, and it goes down easily. Except when she doesn't put a negative effect on the Miho. That's the one time where it really screws you up. I actually misplayed that badly. I should have gone after the Verd, but I read your Miho, and for some reason I attacked his Miho. I needed to attack the Miho with my... I needed to attack the... yeah, I just misplayed. Can I transform? Yes. Okay. So let's start to work on this Barbara. And let's reset this Barbara. Antares might take a turn someday. I'm not sure what day that'll be, but someday Antares might take a turn. Let's see, can we get the Miho this way? One non-crit. One non-crit. Wow, no stuns, no non-crits, and a counter. That was pretty rough. That was pretty rough. All right, can we get a stun? No, we can get a counter instead. But I misplayed this one from the start though. Mina was supposed to attack Verd, and it was literally because I was talking about the Miho. Can we get a non-crit? No, of course we can't. Yeah, this was just very poorly played. The Antares crit rate's only about 50-60%. He's hit that Miho 7 times. He really should have killed the Miho already. There goes the Miho. It's way too late, but... let's get the Verd. Nope. Yeah, like I said, I deserve to lose that one. It was a misplay right from the start, though. Yeah, no, it was all right. That was a misplay from the start. So there's the RTA record. I had a long losing streak yesterday. Okay, guys, that's going to be it for today's stream. Thank you guys very much for tuning in, for interacting. Congratulations to those who got the entries. I'll update my list later. And appreciate you guys. I'll post the next stream. I'll put another post up so you know when it's coming. And have a great night, guys.